against men.
Yeah, no.
It's,
we're engaging in this idea that we're basically wanting to set up like a participation trophy league of sort of, we're going to set up a whole different ball field explicitly to let people who can't perform at that level at least show what skill they do have. Like there's a compassionate part of me that understands that, but if we're not going to do that consistently or in like some like reasonable manner, it's just going to be kind of weird, goofy proxies that it's like, okay, well, I guess if you're a woman, but we're gonna do it for you, but not for like the really skilled but like flimsy looking dudes. I don't know. It's just nuke it all.
Yeah. But I would say you wouldn't want to overcomplicate it, and we draw delineations for a reason, right? I would say gender is a pretty pretty easy distinction to be like, hey, this is a good cutoff line here. Now, could you say that some overly
if you're a woman,
men,
but
who haven't developed, a ton of lean muscle mass, and they're pretty much genetically neutered, and they're, approximating that of a woman physically. I can understand the argument for like this guy's disadvantage, and he won't be able to compete. But I would say that's
if they were let into the WNBA. Yeah, but that's exactly what I have in mind here. It's like if they were let into the WNBA, I wouldn't complain at all.
I get the point, but I would disagree, because then you'd have to come up with a list of metrics to prove that this individual is somehow like physically comparable when they're really not. Even so. If they're, like an extremely effeminate man,
you're gonna get into some really weird territory. I see what you're saying. I guess that's what I'm questioning. My understanding is that for a lot of like elite sport, well, this isn't exactly elite sports, but like professional sports programs, they already have to do that kind of testing anyway, as just part of like the regimenting they do, right? Like in terms of just like tracking their training progress, drug testing, et cetera, et cetera. So my thinking is, it's not obvious to me the marginal cost of that would be higher. I take your point that if it is, then it doesn't make sense. Like it's just not worth the trouble. Here's what I think. Because no one cares.
Here's what I think.
That's fair.
Like I'll never be in the NBA, and there's a reason why. I'm not tall enough. I'm not genetically gifted enough. I can't jump high enough, right? So I should. Right. Society should not have to wrap around and cater to me because I'm genetically disadvantaged and I want to be able to get into a specific sport. And I don't think you're arguing for that. I'm just saying that you start getting into really weird territory when you're saying that like these weird, overly effeminate, like totally frail, weak men physically are supposed to have a place somewhere in sports, and they're not getting that because they're incompetent. Well, it's like. You wouldn't apply that really anywhere else, would you? I mean, really, you wouldn't apply that anywhere else. So
agreed. But that's why that's why I said like my personal position is I don't give much of a fuck about the WNBA either. But the people who are willing to defend both, that seems like pick one. You see what I mean? Like either we want to be compassionate and set up these sort of like parallel leagues to the extent we can, like within reason.
Here's what I think. If the capitalist system,
if we don't care about that, let's not do it. It might be a waste. Right? Like
yes, if capitalism and the NBA dictates that they want to subsidize a WNBA league, have at it. I don't care.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
I wonder whether or not that would still exist with if stadium subsidies went away, man. I don't know. The NBA does get a lot of like handouts.
Oh. This is true. Yeah, I really don't know like how the NBA pulls all of its revenue. If it's a little dicey, then maybe I'd be more for pulling out of the WNBA. Listen, I don't really give a fuck about this topic too much. I'm more interested in like the actual trends and the merits of the argument. I don't really give a fuck about women's sports.
Fair enough. I guess for me, like the only reason I care about it at all is because of that. Like the weird thing is like there's not that many trans people at all. It's always confused me. Like it's such a big portion of the politics, despite it being like.
And I think if women,
tiny minutia.
If women do want sports and we're going to allow them to have these sports, then I would say that we probably should at least to some degree make them fair by drawing a delineation between sex, right? And it is pretty easy.
I could go either way on that. I get you.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Do any of you guys have thoughts about originalism? Just the conservative legal
originalism?
philosophy? Yeah.
Could you be a little more specific?
Yeah, so I'll tell you just there's something I've had my like mind. I'm struggling to wrap my head around it with respect to something that's going on in the courts. And to summarize it, like I understand the conservative legal movement to largely be wrapped around, not entirely, but largely wrapped around like a family of theories called originalism, right? The idea that we don't want judges just making shit up. So we're going to adopt this like formalist approach, which is let's take documents like the Constitution and statutes in some cases, and like we're going to interpret them consistent with the way the text of those documents would have been understood at the time that they were
I know
adopted
the
or ratified, right?
I was just
right?
wondering like what you meant by thoughts on originalism.
So I guess I'm wondering whether or not that's the right definition, because what seems to be happening in the courts and what makes me confused at how this happened is like there's like the text history and tradition test. This comes up in like the Second Amendment sphere, I think most publicly, but it's showing up elsewhere, right? And the idea is like wherever there's like a fundamental right, the kind of thing that, you know, I think conservatives would argue liberals just like make up out of whole cloth, like the right to an abortion, whatever. Like the way that we know whether there's a fundamental right that's not in the text is not by looking at like the scope only looking at the scope of what the text would include. We look at like we should look at the history, like what did the words mean to the people who adopted it? But then also we add this third thing, which is let's look at the traditions of the American people or American legislatures between the ratification of the documents and now. So for example, like we look at the history of gun regulation since the enactment of the Second Amendment or the 14th Amendment up to now, and just see whether or not it's consistent with the historical tradition of firearms regulation in the country to say, you know, ban domestic abusers from having guns. So there's this tradition plank, and I don't understand it. I don't know where that comes from in the conservative argument. Like, to me, like, as I understand it, the conservative argument for originalism is usually skeptical of this sort of like we're going to start cherry picking through either history in one way or another, whether it's legislative history or otherwise, because that lets judges sort of pick what they want. So I guess I'm curious where that comes from, if you guys know anything about that.
I couldn't give you the origins. I mean,
yeah, honestly, it's an interesting question because I don't know where it's come from, but I know it's been that way for quite a long period of time.
A quick Google search, there's a difference between originalism and textualism. So, like, basically, you have judges, and it's all like up to the individual judges. Some people are very originalist, and some people are just very text. They look at the words and say, "What does this word mean?" And it's open interpretation. So it's just two different lines of thinking.
That wasn't really the question, though.
No. Yeah, it's a little different. So that difference is a little different. So, like, someone who's a textualist, like one way to there's a bit of this is just like maybe pedantry, but like there's some people who are textualists and they go, let's just look at what the words mean, period. Like we're not looking to what other people might have had in their heads about what the words mean in like 1864 or 1786. It's let's just whatever the text means, the judges go with that. Like that's a formalist argument that might be defensible, but that's not originalism. But in my mind, I'm thinking of two different variants of originalism. One is we look at just the text and history so just looking at immediately around when a document was adopted, right? So for the original Constitution, it would have been, what do these words mean to the people who ratified this document in 1786, right? And then, but the tradition thing is added on top of that. Now, I understand that to still be an originalist argument at the very least, because like originalists are the ones doing that. And, you know, the liberals are kind of pointing at this and going, well, that's originalism and that's terrible. And I'm like, you know, I generally don't like what the liberals want to do as the alternative, but I'm looking at this and I'm going, man, I don't know where that's coming from. This seems kind of inconsistent with the really good arguments conservatives otherwise make about originalism. The tradition seems to stand out here. It's like a weird way to do it.
I mean, I've seen it applied in cases where there's not enough pertaining to what's required for an individual ruling to like interpret meaning, so therefore you lean on tradition. But I've also seen it like abused as well, and I would just say that it gets abused like anything else in that case. But it's not really like a great conversational point.
In the case that you're saying that the rules may be interpreted and have to be changed due to circumstances and current law not applying to such a thing, that's where the abuse happens, right? Is that like a lot of times people can take and then interpret the law and then change its actual basis meaning, trying to make it fit a particular occasion, right?
Where it's almost like overriding it, I guess. So like, for example, in like the Rahimi argument, right? Like in the Rahimi case, it's like, we're obviously looking for a way to take this guy's gun away for understandable reasons, right? Like the guy was a dickhead, but like, so we're going to like cherry pick from, well, arguably cherry pick. Maybe you'd say it's not, but like, we're going to pick from from different like analogies of gun regulation from the past, but that aren't immediately around either the 14th Amendment or the adoption of the Second Amendment, you know, the original Bill of Rights. Like, to me, like Scalia argued against legislative history for this reason, right? It was just like, the reason we're not going to look at what legislators said is no one one, no one voted on what was in the heads of legislators, and two, we don't want judges cherry picking. That just makes it easier for them to just import their own personal moral views and like just throw it in there. But that seems like that's what tradition lets them do. It just, it's so all of a sudden it's like state legislatures can create new rights in a way. Or either we're saying like state legislatures can create new unenumerated rights 50 years after the adoption of a piece of text, or the state legislatures aren't really doing that, and we're just kind of transparently letting judges make shit up.
The judges do make
I
the
would probably
law.
I guess what kind?
Or like,
I was gonna say, what kind of answer are you looking for here? Because there's
I guess
axiom A and B are both true at the same time.
Well, I'm looking from the outside here, right? Like I'm not like a conservative hardliner here, right? So I guess I'm just wondering whether or not you guys had ever like maybe heard about this or have any thoughts on it, or maybe a defense of it, right? Just like I'm obviously like coming at it from, I've probably heard more hostile arguments against it and not like defense. So
you should
You're asking for a good defense of it?
If you see someone like Momo or potentially Goose and shit, they'd probably be they're more, well, Momo's a lawyer, for example, but she's big on this. And Goose is like a wannabe lawyer. They're probably better to ask over it overall.
All right.
But I've gotten to the point with that where I have the same question you do, so I think it's actually a really interesting question to ask right there. 'Cause like I can't tell you the answer. I don't know. Well, like I said, axiom A and B are true. So what's the rationalization between that? But
yeah, fair enough. So that's the kind of thing that makes me like more sympathetic to like textualists. Actually, like there's a part of me that kind of like gets like there's some. It seems like it's a relatively narrow set of liberals, right? Like it doesn't give them everything they want, but like the idea that like we're just going to look at text as we understand it today, because maybe even trying to figure out what words meant to people in the past is also kind of like weird. I kind of get that now more, like just looking at the way that it feels like people are trying to like cope out of weird or radical rulings.
Yep. Yeah, textualism is probably way better than originalism because it has it has a chance to evolve and move with the times and things better than just being stagnant to like 17.
I mean,
rules.
I don't think that's a selling point. I don't think that's a selling point.
I think that's a huge problem with it.
Why?
I think that's a downside. Yeah, I think. Well, I don't actually. I don't think the role of the law is to adapt and evolve. Like that's arguably a better. Better done elsewhere.
Isn't the law downstream from morality? So when morality changes, you should change the laws with the times.
That's not my view. That's not my view.
I would not hold that.
I'm much more.
Why not though?
Yeah.
If you want a law to do something it wasn't meant to do, you make a new law. Like that's a very
why can't
simple
you
kind of
just
argument,
rescind?
Right?
So like.
Because then all laws have an extreme degree of relativity, and
I would not want to give.
Let's be specific here,
What?
like Dank. Like my view is at least the courts. Let's be specific. Like law, we might be conflating a couple things because like legislatures, like if you think that like the written statutes should embody what people's moral views are, that might be defensible. My worry here is like I think the role of courts and judges is to just resolve disputes and set terms so people know what they can and can't do. Like it's about stable expectations, and given that, I don't want judges to have discretion.
You're
like,
right. I mean, they've always been doing that. So I mean, that's kind of that's literally like the judge of the job of the judge and shit is to fucking. There's a thing comes to their court and they have to make constitutional law, or they have to dictate what the actual rules are, and sometimes those rules set precedent for the next 100, 200 years, even. So I mean, that's kind of what they're. I mean, that's literally what they do. So I don't know what the problem is.
Well, the problem is just how they do it, right? Like the argument for originalism is that it's a relatively neutral, or maybe not strictly objective, but at least like a public method, so that whatever the judges are doing, even if they have their own personal views, they have to show their work. So we at least have some confidence in that, as compared to if they have a sort of open-ended methodology where the text doesn't necessarily bind them as strictly, right? Or if they're claiming to obey things other than the text, how would we know? In the same way, like a scientist, like they write out their papers, they show their methodology. It's not because they don't have views. They're motivated to support their hypothesis, right? But they have to show their work.
Yeah.
So we have more confidence in what they're doing.
Resident, what did you say with regards to judges having discretion?
Well, I just don't like it. I don't want ideally, like maybe this is absurd, but in my head, like this ideal I have is like ideally the judge could literally just be a computer, like an algorithm that just
might be the future AI.
Figure out what. I think about that sometimes. Judge Kevin Newsom of the 11th Circuit has kind of quipped about that because he thinks AI could be useful for textualism and just figuring out what words meant too. I think that's interesting. I think that's the right way to think about what judges do in a system of figuring out what the law is.
If you implement AI, can you have a stronger argument then for words being unchanging? Like you'd have something. You'd have like
the words can
you'd have
unchange. Like, so the words can unchange, but like the meaning of them, like, so like when the beginning, when it was like, you know, independence and freedom for every man, it didn't mean women, it didn't mean black people. Like that form of it evolved with the times. Like, you know, like the words stayed the same, but the meaning of those words in that document changed because of the times and how we evolved as society.
Right. But if we have AI, would AI then have discretion over whether or not things are changing, and how would it be able to measure that? And then, like, how would it know?
I don't know.
It's a maybe. That this is like talking down the future. Like if it delivers promise, right, or if it delivers as promised, then this could be a useful tool for that.
I'd say even if you're skeptical of the idea that we can figure out like the perfect meaning of what people meant like 100 years ago, I'd just say like there's a couple of risks. Like for one, if what a law means can be influenced by people immediately around when the law is enacted. Like think about what I could do if I'm like a really motivated senator. We just passed a law. I don't really like it, but I know that one way I can influence how it works is by just saying shit about what I think the words in it means right after it gets adopted. I'm hostile to law, but I say some shit. And I know that judges being textualists, like looking at the modern or contemporary meaning, they might cite what I say as evidence of what that law is supposed to do, even if I'm not really like the majority view, right?
Sure. Yeah, there's literally a term for that too. Fuck.
Well, Scalia called it like looking for faces in the crowd. Like he analogized it to that. Like I think there's like maybe that's still better than what originalism is doing. I don't know. Like it's obviously like a trade-off thing. I'm just saying like that would be the worry here. At the very least, if you do originalism, like the people who you're looking to figure out the meaning, they're not alive. Like it's not as obvious to me that like they are thinking 100 years ahead of time as to how they can influence what the law is going to do in a context they couldn't have imagined.
Okay,
but the argument is that will lend itself towards neutrality.
Again, I would make the same argument in the beginning when it says "we the people" on top. It doesn't mean women. It doesn't mean black people. It doesn't mean anybody but white men. I mean, honestly, at the time. So I mean, obviously, again, we learned that we need to adapt to the times and get to "we the people" literally mean every American citizen, no matter what you are. You know, like so. My whole point is that you need to have some involvement with the words and the times. Like it has to just. Like I said, you keep the same words.
For originalism depends on that. So to be clear, I think as I understand it, the mainstream FedSoc conservative legal argument for originalism isn't that we actively just want to be bound by the words of dead men for its own sake. The argument is that we today don't want judges today to make shit up. It's not because we want to go back to slavery. It's because we just want a neutral methodology to bind judges. Like it's not because
Scalia was big.
That's a different argument.
Scalia was really big on that and citing that like judges are not particularly interested in being legislators. He wrote books about that even.
I mean, obviously it should factor into what you think about like when you are like, let's say if I were to like read this law and I'm trying to make my own interpretation off whatever I think or believe, right? But I should take an effect that like in 1820 when this law was made, this was the reason, like the idea of it. But I mean, like I'm saying, you should be able to still form it. Like I said, you keep the same words and documents, but like amend it or something where like, you know, it matches what we're going with today's world instead of 150 years ago.
Even if you think that's true, why would you think judges are well equipped to do that? Like judges are weird, right? Lawyers are weird. Wouldn't you rather like? Wouldn't that be an argument for just saying that maybe we should kick more questions of law to juries? Like we should let juries have a little more influence?
I would argue that that's literally what judges and lawyers have been doing since the beginning of America. Like all these laws, like I said, when a judge hands out there's a verdict on a case, that verdict is set precedent for 150 years. Like, you know, like Chevron just got overturned. What was it? That was there's a lot of cases that, you know, like they get interpreted this way until somebody else does it. And now that becomes the new standard till somebody else makes a different argument, different case. And then that becomes the new standard and model that we go with, you know, and it's always been, I'm saying that's how America is ran. We've been doing that the whole time. I could say it might not be the best
Chevron's
way.
I think Chevron's a good example of why that was wrong. Like, because Chevron's a weird example. Because like the argument for Chevron was the idea was that it was supposed to offer more stability than judges because it would kick it to a different like part of the government that's meant to be staffed with this more stable sort of like bench picks of experts that wouldn't be subject to the same kind of like partisan whims as like appointing judges. And it turned out that was just empirically wrong. Like that came up in the Corner Post? Not Corner Post. I'm sorry, I'm actually forgetting the name of the case. It was like Loper and Relentless. I think Roberts even cited to that it was like it didn't actually do that. Like it seems to me like that's evidence against your point that like judges might actually, even liberal judges, right? They might just be more consistent than like random.
I mean, my whole point.
They could be more consistent with the right methodology than like your average bumblefuck.
Sure, I'm not saying that people can't be bad or good with that power per se, but I'm saying that technically in America, I mean, that is how we've been ran, though. I mean, the Supreme Court always sets precedent. There's always cases that go to their shit, and they have to decide, and that decision becomes the new standard for a long time. Like I said, even with Chevron, like I'm saying, but it can change. It just takes a different argument, different set of situation, different society in general, everything, but it can, even within the same case, like I'm saying, you don't have to change the words, but the same case can have different outings. Just depends on the argument and the phrasing or whatever you want to call it, I
mean, that just sounds to me like good reason why we care about who's on the courts. That doesn't answer the question of what methodology we want them to use. This still, like, I could believe every word you just said in that brief comment and still think that we should put originalists on the court.
This is the whole point of political division, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is almost like philosophical in the sense that it just comes down to there's no right or wrong answer. Just how do you feel, what you think, and make your points, But yeah, it's fun though. I don't know. I don't think until you can get AI to the perfect modem, I don't think you're gonna have your utopian like judicial system or whatever you want to call it, because there's always gonna be flaws and kinks as ran by people.
I just don't think it's the utopian. I don't think it's utopian to think that like, hey, this method might narrow the amount of judicial discretion we have. It's not me thinking it's going to eliminate it. I'm not so naive. Like there were people who used to think that in like the 1800s. That's not the sort of common originalist view anymore, as I understand it.
I'm not looking for like a really hard argument, but do you have some sort of prescription, do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's a hard subject, but that's why I wanted to ask about the tradition approach. Like that seems to have a lot of sway among at least a certain kind of more old school conservative, but maybe less along like the quote new originalist. And I guess I have a hard time understanding why they like it. Like that, but it's a hard issue. I don't know exactly what the right answer is here. I'm not a legal philosopher in that way. But it is more relevant now, right? Like there's cases being decided on the basis of this that are really consequential. So I would assume it probably comes up.
I guess, like I said, to me, you should blend the two. Like I said, you should have somebody, like in a perfect world, I would have somebody that looks at these old cases and look at the original meaning of them. But then, like I said, try to blend that with the new times and try to deal with it in the modern society.
Well, if you believe that, why have judges do that? Why not just have like commissions of people who are reading the text but aren't like weird lawyers? Like they're just like.
Well, because you have three separate branches. You have 3 separate branches of government. If you got rid of one branch, that means you'd have two equally 50-50 split of power. It's kind of nice having a third. So it keeps the other two can keep one in check, and the other two can keep the other. Just seems to be better this way.
Right, but you want to make it redundant, right? Like what you're proposing makes the judicial branch redundant. Right, you're saying, okay, well, we just have basically a second separate legislator that just gets to choose whether they want to choose, the originalist argument, or they want to choose the textualist argument, or whether they want to, do whatever. Right, they just get to pick their choice. I mean, that's what your argument is.
There's a sense in which that might even be defensible, right? I mean, we have at the very least like specialized courts, and arguably Congress has like jurisdiction stripping authority. It gets technical, but basically there's weird ways in which you could kind of do that. It just seems like if we actually take the idea of rule of law seriously, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe there's a good argument against having like the weird forms of like English historical law, legal systems. Maybe there's a better system. But if we believe that this system is worth having at all, I have a hard time seeing why we wouldn't want judges to behave in the way originalists say that they should. Maybe we just like it's hard for me to see an argument against what the originalists are doing that isn't also an argument against having these weird courts at all and just doing it in a very different way. right? Just having like 5, if you like 3 more than 2, why not 5 or 6? Just have a bunch of weird different little commissions scattered all over the place that read the same kind of text, but do try to incorporate what they think like people's common moral views are.
That's what all the appellate courts are.
The system.
That's what I'm just saying. That's the appellate courts. That's all your county courts, all that shit. It all works its way up.
Yeah, we separate based on municipalities, right? So I mean, you are literally like kind of explaining the court process.
You did just in a roundabout way.
But in the end, what's the point of having that, right? Like you're literally just making the judicial branch entirely redundant. You're saying, fuck the judicial branch. I just want to have a Congress for every level, from county all the way up to fucking, federal,
that's the argument for states, right? I mean, that's just the argument for states to evolve down to a smaller plots of land.
It's
it might be that's my point. Is like whatever you think of this. Like, I guess my thinking is like I think there are good reasons to have the courts in the weird way that we do, even just like your local county courts. And I think there's good arguments for that. I tend to just not accept the premise that what judges are doing is so hopelessly open-ended that all they're really doing is picking moral preferences. I actually think even a lot of liberal judges are better about that than you seem to think.
I just think it's been happening forever. I don't think it's ever going to stop, like unless you change our whole political system in America, because this is how we literally been ran on. It's all about precedent. Once a court sets a precedent, that's the precedent. Like I said, till another lawyer fucking can make the best argument and get another guy to disagree with it or whatever and change their point. That's how it just always works. I mean, even when you go to a court, all the good lawyers do is go over old cases.
The point of having a third branch of government. Point of having the courts is stability, right? And to ensure that people's rights are not being infringed upon unnecessarily, right? So if we're just like, oh, yeah, well, courts can decide what they want, and it's just going to be a commission of people, then they kind of figure out what the common moral value is, right? Well, then there was no reason to have it. You might as well just get rid of the courts entirely and just let the legislature do what it wants.
Yeah, they're both there to offset each other.
That is a totally valid argument. Yeah.
What?
No, I agree with you. I'm saying
it's a totally valid argument.
Yeah, I was just saying that's the point of each branch totally is to separate them.
Your argument, brother.
Yeah, against the whole modernization.
The redundancy. To some degree, I agree, but I don't know. What you're saying?
I'm not arguing that it should be made redundant. I'm just saying get rid of if you're going to just make this claim that oh yeah, courts should be able to interpret things based on what they feel is the common morality amongst the people, right? Then you've just, you've made it pointless to have a court. You've gotten rid of separation of powers. And so at this point, let's just have a fucking military dictatorship, right? Just let people choose whatever they want to do. Why do we need a Bill of Rights in the first place? Just throw that out while we're at it. I mean, that's taking it to absurdity, but that's kind of the reality. If you don't want to have somebody that's, ensuring that you follow the standard that was set for society, what's the point of having the standard itself?
Think here.
I also just think the concern about making sure that the courts incorporate the moral views of the public at the time is somewhat. It just seems like there's better remedies for that. I think that understates the extent to which that's already happening. The kinds of questions that courts answer are, for the most part, weird doctrinal procedural issues about what specifically the federal rules of civil procedure mean. They're not typically solving, and there's some empirical evidence. They usually just track to the extent that there's any social effect. Yeah. They kind of just track what the public already thinks. It's not, it's not obvious to me that's actually what the courts are doing anyway. It's hard for me to accept the premise.
Well, I mean, under Chevron, right? It was a removal of power from the courts and just giving that to the executive branch, right? Like the executive branch basically got the power to say, this is in our realm of expertise, therefore we can interpret it however we want. And the courts don't have to tell us anything. We can just tell the courts to fuck off, and we'll write our. And that was bullshit because it got rid of the checks and balances. And then we saw under the Bruin decision, right? We went back and we were like, yeah, that was fucking retarded. Like, we got rid of a check and balance in the government. So now we're going to go back to, okay, well, the court needs to decide for each and everything and interpret the law as it's supposed to. Well, interpret the law in the context. Okay,
I feel like jarcossy. The jarcossy just springs to mind when you're saying that, because I still cannot fucking understand the dissent in jarcossy. Like, this was the case about like whether or not the SEC could bring you before its own judges and have where the ALJs are picked by them, and whether or not they could do that for something that was really analogous to like a common law fraud claim, or whether or not that had to go before like an Article 3 judge, like a normal court. Like, the way the dissent reads just read to me so ridiculously. Like, especially if you think that judges should embody what like the general public's morals are, like, in what world do we think that like lawyers who are already weird, but who are then handpicked by the weird kinds of people who populate administrative agencies, in what world do we think those people are more representative of public opinion than like some judge out of some judge in like the 11th
right.
The 11th circuit or something, district, but like that,
I mean, you're always going to end up with
that doesn't make any sense to me.
You're always going to end up with bad precedents, but the nature of humans to be
Yep.
Incorrect or to fail at things, right? Or you're always going to end up with somebody who just has the fucking retard opinion of like, yeah, this is fine, bro. Right? And there's nothing you can do about it other than try to make it correct 95% of the
AI is the only way you can perfect it, which is a scary way to do it.
You can't even perfect it with AI.
Probably not. I'm just saying, like, that might be the only way, and even then, yeah, it's probably not. But still, I'm saying as long as humans do it.
Before you join Error, I'm actually, I'm not actually sure. I might be a little more optimistic about that prospect than you. But
I have buddies that love it.
I could be wrong.
I have buddies like you that love AI. They tell me to use it for everything, and I don't do it, but yeah, I have buddies like that want AI for cops and everything. They're like, they'll be perfect. I'm like, really? You think so? And
yeah, probably. It'd probably be much more preferable.
I mean, it very well could be. I'm not saying it is or isn't.
I don't know necessarily. If
we can track outcomes, right? Like we can easily track input and output. We don't necessarily know what's going on in the black box of like an algorithm, but we know inputs and outcomes, so therefore we can make decisions about the decisions it makes.
That's all I'm optimistic. Like there's a sense in which that's also true of some weird lawyer in a black robe who's pulling up dictionaries. Like, are we assuming like lexicographers are somehow less biased than like some weird programmers at Google? I don't know. Maybe. But...
Well, I mean, probably. Honestly, yes, but that doesn't necessarily matter because again, if they produce a model, we can objectively rate it. So it's so it's like just because they're leftist, they can make something that's pure neutral as well, and if they do, great, we can rate it. Or if they make something that's inherently biased, we'll be able to tell that as well.
I also tend to be of the view that like if the goal is to provide stability for people who exist today, like the fact that like the methodologies of the courts shift such that precedent might change. I don't know how big of a deal that is, so long as like precedent isn't changing like every 5 years. It's like if it's like a reliance interest. I find it hard for like the reliance interest arguments to like come in if it's like, oh, we're overturning a precedent that most people don't know or think about that was on the books like 120 years ago, and judges have been walking around ever since. Like, okay, Lydia, switch from one form of formalism to another means that precedent is bad. I don't know that that's actually a problem. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and in the same way, if we switch to AI for interpreting like contracts as opposed to just lawyers with dictionaries,
I would argue
it might be teething troubles, but
I would argue how often you hear about a Chevron case getting overturned, like that big of a case. I mean, it happens, but it's not very often that like those kind of cases get overturned because it takes a big change in mindset or whatever you want to call it, for that kind of happen.
I guess. But on the other hand, how many courts were actually relying on Chevron before it was overturned?
18,000. I just looked it up. 18,000 cases used that case to either win a case or lose a case.
In the years before it was overturned? Like, I'm thinking, like, the Supreme Court at least hadn't cited Chevron for like 10 years.
A lot of people have actually gone to the court to do that. I guess I just read this just a second ago. It was, like I said, it was 18,000 cases have cited Chevron either for or against their court case since 1986 when it passed to, 2022, whatever it was.
Meaning, are these judicial opinions or just like what the litigants say? Because like the litigants will throw every argument they can, but I guess I'd be interested in what the judges think.
I read it here, maybe. I gotta find where I read it.
Presumably, like appellate judges too. I mean, I don't, who the fuck knows what some district judge is going to do?
Yeah, for nearly 40 years and in more than 18,000 judicial opinions, federal courts have used the Chevron doctrine to defer to the agency's responsible or reasonable interpretation of the ambiguous statute.
Yeah, but that's 40 years. That's the whole period of when Chevron, like Chevron was not that old a case.
1984, 1984 right. Till. But I'm just saying, like, this case was used a fuck ton, like, as a precedent. I'm saying this precedent for the last 36, 7, 8 years was a huge precedent. Like it changed a lot of outcomes in this time period, and now it's going to go the other way.
Well, sure, but I guess that's why I thought that was a weird example because if presumably the reason we care about like a huge momentous decision, like as if it's supposed to be a negative thing, is because people like rely on the status quo, and if we change it, like that change in and of itself might be a harm, even if we like the outcome. But that wasn't true of Chevron. Like Chevron made the law less consistent. Like, okay, we're making a huge we're making a huge earth shaking change in order to prevent more earthquakes. I don't know. That seems fine to me.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it came down to the arguments that people made, and more people thought they were better, so they changed their views because it's different times. I guess. I mean, that's I guess how it would go.
All right.
I'm not sure if it's good or bad necessarily, but it is what it is. It's kind of how it's, like I said, it's how it's always been,
Well, I don't know, what would the other people in the chat like it if judicial appointments, at least like lower courts, weren't something like the president did? Like that was actually something that like Congress did?
What do you mean lower
I don't really, the Senate doesn't really do it any better, so I don't know, kind of neutral on that one.
Right.
What do you mean lower courts? Like local?
Well, just like, like the argument you're making is like, is that to some extent you want like judges to more directly embody like the way that like normies basically like think, at least in terms of their morals, right? Like regardless of like weird
kind of
like technical issues, right?
I'm arguing that
I'm thinking like, so you're just saying they are, like I thought you were approving of that you think like that's a
I keep saying like in general, like I'm not sure if it's good or bad. Like I'm saying you can argue if it's good or bad. Okay. I'm saying this it's just how it is. And honestly, until you come up with a better system that is 100% better, I would just roll with what the system we got going right now. Until you come up with the actual better one.
Honestly, I thought about it for a second. I would be okay, but only for I guess kind of an ideological reason. In that, like I view the executive branch overall as just being a little bit too powerful right now. So solely for a balance of power argument, I think I would be supportive of that.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm not sure. I guess I'm just thinking, like, if we are genuinely concerned about, like, whether or not judges are diverging from, like, the concerns of, like, normal people one way or the other, like, that seems like it would more directly impact how we want to pick them than just sort of armchair theorizing about what they should do.
I don't know.
That would still be, like, a structural thinking.
Like, I don't know if the outcomes in a vacuum would be any better, though. Because like I said, Congress also picks some doozies, right? But
we all do.
I do, again, pretty much fundamentally the only argument that springs to mind is just it removes a bit of leverage from the president's office, which I think is probably a good thing right now.
That's always a good thing in general.
You might be right. That's a good point. I'm not sure.
Very, very boilerplate though. Like it's just like
well, in general,
like
the more people you have not having one, like as long as one person doesn't have all the power, the more power we can take away from one person is always going to be better. Just in general.
Well, we don't want a tyrannical Congress either. That's also not a good thing.
No,
but,
for sure.
I do think Congress in general should outweigh the executive, just a bit anyway.
Yeah, like I said, technically they're all supposed to be equal. So I mean, as long as everyone does their job right, and do it the way it's supposed to,
Unless the executive becomes me, then I want the most power possible, unified in one place.
And that's why we got to keep it out of one person's hands. Exactly why.
No, I'd make things better. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. I would say the same thing too, probably.
You say you think executive power is a little too strong. Like, is there a way in which you want to see it narrowed, or do you just want anything that means less is good? Like, do you think it's just because they're exercising power in areas where you think it's probably bad for the president to do it, or just that it's fine where he's doing it, he's just doing it too much?
Things like probably the War Powers Act. Ever since that went into play, there's just been like a slow erosion in balance, generally towards the executive. So I look at it as this isn't like a specific area that I think the executive is too strong or not strong enough in. This would just be like an aggregate reduction of leverage. So it's like, again, though, this is just like an off the top of my head. What do I think about that question? I'd say, at least for now, I have to chew on it a bit more. I'd probably lean more towards, yeah, let's move that to Congress.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think I get you especially on I get you especially on judicial appointments, because the way I think about it, like, it's not my view, but I understand like one conservative view here is like the view of the president's powers being kind of like a balloon, right? The whole energy in the executive idea is like the president has like very broad short-term powers that are then reined in by the power of the purse of Congress, right? Like they're able to act swiftly for things like national defense, have really expansive powers, act like a temporary dictator, but if they go too far, there's like the other branches have these sort of longer term ways of hemming that in. But the judicial appointments kind of stands out as like the elephant in the room there, where that doesn't seem to have anything to do with like short term. You need strong short term executive power, Hamiltonian ideas there. It's just like this sort of random thing where it's like, well, we didn't want to give that to Congress.
I kind of view it more so as it's just a propagation system of activist judges. Because you're due to the nature of like term limits, and especially now the uncertainty of second term, like the whole diminishing incumbent advantage of a president, you're just strongly motivated to get that sort of like partisan judge in there, as many as humanly possible, because they could potentially impact you within a single term. So like I kind of was like thinking of it from that angle. It's like I don't think anyone. I mean, everyone loves the activist judge that agrees with them, right? Like, everyone loves the benevolent dictator. It's his kid that I worry about. So I'm thinking about his kid now,
Yeah, I get that. That's a good point. Maybe that's just another example of like the founders didn't anticipate political parties kind of argument. Just like, well, the president's going to have these different incentives from like the House and the Senate on who should be a judge.
Honestly, though, I would say they absolutely did predict political parties, given that they tried very hard to bulwark around them. or to bulwark them from becoming.
They only had two parties in the beginning. It was Federalists and Anti-Federalists, and then it slowly turned to like Whigs, and it slowly turned,
Yeah, well, they didn't want to call it a political party, but
I know they didn't. But I'm saying,
it kind of was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it always has been. Just again, it wasn't the words, but yes, it was.
Well, the Federalists and Anti-Federalists were a bit unique because political parties typically align around like some sort of ideology or political philosophy, aka left-right, right?
They kind of
but
were,
like
though.
the Federalists and Anti-Federalists really weren't. They were truly about federalism or anti-federalism.
Yeah. Just like ideology.
It was
like a purely ideological point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what a left-right paradigm is too, right? I mean, it's ideology. I
don't know about that.
It's just different.
Like, there's a lot more partisan and like institutional gamesmanship than I think what he's describing, where it was much more just we're gonna argue with each other in newsletters and propaganda. It's not gonna be like we're gonna like enter these institutional arrangements and raise money to do these specific.
Did dude get killed fucking in a duel over politics and shit? I mean, this is nothing new. Like there's always.
I mean that's more of an like an outlier example of people getting particularly heated.
Dude, there was a dude that got a dude almost got caned to death on the Senate floor during the. A dude almost got caned to death on the Senate floor during pre-Civil War times. I mean, we've had.
But that's after.
Politicians used to throw bricks and hit each other with each other's canes.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, no, dude, they used to be very physical and violent back in the day.
Yeah, but again, this is about like people getting heated in politics, all the same, if not more. So it's different than if like Federalists or Anti-Federalists.
No, yeah, because we have
also
social media. Dude,
also, by the time of the caning, like by the time of the caning, like political parties absolutely were a thing. Like, I'm referring to like whether or not like in 1786. There was an expectation that you'd have these sort of like institutionally entrenched private groups organizing so much of politics that sort of skews, like maybe that affects how we think about the incentives that the founders thought they were setting up. But that wouldn't be true of like, how people were thinking about it in 1840. I have another curveball to throw here, actually, Jib, about like if your concern is like, okay, you just want a way to hem in like executive power here.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've been thinking about, because I got this, to be clear, I got this from like a conservative like judge from the 11th Circuit. It interests me as a check. He says that the exceptions clause, he thinks that an originalist reading of that is more expansive. So the exceptions clause, I don't remember the exact wording, but his basic argument is that the idea that Congress is able to make exceptions to the jurisdiction of Article 3, so like the Supreme Court and otherwise like Article 3 courts, that he thinks that like the idea that this is constrained in the way that some people think it is comes from like a weird structuralist reading of the Constitution that isn't necessarily like an originalist one. So his point is, like, for example, like after Dobbs came down or before when they thought Dobbs was going to come down, could Biden, with like a majority Democratic Congress, rallied a majority Democrat Congress, to just say the Supreme Court cannot hear cases related to an abortion? And this, like Judge Newsom's point is, he thinks constitutionally, like politically, it might be a really stupid idea for them to do it. That constitutionally, that might be like the check on like just judges going off their rocker is just, okay, fine, be off your rocker. We're just going to take away from you all the cases where you would be off your rocker and give them to weird courts that we set up, right? Like arguably that's like bankruptcy courts, like and the like. So what do you think of that? Like,
I've heard this argument before actually, and I'm trying. Do you know where it's from? Because like I've just heard this before. I'm just curious, like if we're hearing it from the same spot or not.
Well, I've heard there was Judge Kevin Newsom I've listened to on multiple occasions, like all of the advisory opinions podcasts the Dispatch puts out. He's also appeared on this more like legally focused blog called Original Jurisdiction. And I've seen the argument written as by someone else who was writing about the position in the law review article. I don't know which one would be the best source here for what you're like poking at, but most likely advisory opinions.
I was like genuinely curious because of like dusting off the cobwebs of this from some ancient place that I read probably 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, no. It's much. I learned about this much more recently than that. Or from a more recent source?
Honestly, that whole clause is it seems to me that it's almost solely intended for when something is like an extreme case, Congress can rule on it despite a judge ruling. So it's like, if that's a good way to explain it, I guess. But it centers around what's the terminology they use? It's extreme cases, but was it controversies and something else?
Cases and controversies,
right? Cases and controversies, yeah. So it centers around that. So I think it pretty nakedly does give Congress the ability to sort of overrule SCOTUS in that regard. Now, as far as why that doesn't,
do you think it
doesn't happen? I mean, that's a political question,
right.
But
well, it could be. I doubt it, but it could be Congress doesn't believe they have that authority. I doubt anyone in Congress thinks about that. But I guess I'm just wondering, like, whether or not you think in an ideal world that would solve the issue you're worried about.
Well, right? Congress then gave that power to SCOTUS, right? Like, if I have my legal history here correctly, it's been legislatively granted.
They've added jurisdiction, right? Like,
that's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
True. Yes, that's right. Like, Congress can create arguably, it's weird. Some conservatives actually don't like this, but like Congress creates causes of action, like most notably like Section 1983 is like how people sue for like violations of constitutional rights, et cetera, et cetera. Like that's one side of that. Like the jurisdiction stripping argument is that like is about whether or not there's a limit to what Congress can take. And if there's not much of a limit, and that seems like maybe it's not the best check, but that would be a check against like an activist, off the wall judiciary. And I guess my question was just about the policy, like whether or not you think that would be a good idea, if it's constitutional, whether or not it would be a good idea to use that approach.
If we're putting constitutionality aside and we're just talking about the core idea of it, no, probably not, because in practice, this is ultimately a check removal on Congress, right? In a very, very big one, because Congress is almost routinely checked by the judicial branch, whereas the executive and legislative are basically in bed on that most of the time, anyway. But I don't know. In practicality, I don't like it. I don't want Congress to say that the court can't rule on X or Y, or that the court's decision is no longer applicable on X or Y issue. I think that would be very, very short-sighted, especially as issues become very expansive, like over time. Like like what if they were to say like, well, in some time of civil war, the court can't rule on like issues pertaining to violence, or something like silly like that. It's like, well, what does that mean for previous rulings? And two, what does that mean going forward? It's just like, and three, how do you explicitly define violence? You get all kinds of like crazy rabbit holes with that. So I guess I'm kind of okay with status quo on that.
I am too. Like I think my inkling is that it's a bad idea, but I wonder whether or not that would change if there were more like prescribed limits on like how those limits could be defined. So like your point is like, oh, they can't hear any cases related to violence. Well, maybe that's too broad, but what if it was just on very specific issues? Like it had to be as specific as abortion. It's like, but if they specified it like that, then they could do it.
How do you get around like cases that encompass multiple issues then? Like, so say you have a case that has abortion as a part of it, and then, but there's also like a murder trial attached or whatever, whatever crazy. That's kind of why I don't want to open that box.
Wouldn't that just depend on the issue raised? Like in practice, like the Supreme Court's already an appellate court, right? So like if you have like a criminal prosecution over like, oh, some woman like violated some abortion law or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's already like, if that's already just maybe that's going to play out in the lower court either way. And it's just a question of whether or not the Supreme Court can hear the issue raised on appeal related to the legal question of abortion, even though it's bundled up with the other things. Like that's already how the Supreme Court grants cert, right? It's like the Supreme Court grants cert on narrow issues in a bundle of other ones. It's just, could they grant cert? Could they even allow themselves to take such a case?
it does it within the context of the case. Still, though, they might make a ruling that's hyper specific. They still hear the case, like overall.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like they could be dishonest about the reason they hear a case, for example, right? Like it's okay, that's a fair point. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know the answer either. Like I said, like I heard this argument once in some ancient memory from God knows when, so just kind of theory crafting here, but I'm hesitant. That's my initial reaction here. Is looking. I don't know if I'm really okay with Congress in a real politique fashion. Congress being able to, I guess, remove authority from SCOTUS like that. I mean, technically they already could, though, right? Because there are other ways to do it that we just sort of operate on tradition to not do. Like, we're not really packing the court every time, for example, with activist judges or even necessarily non-judges, right?
Not yet, yeah.
Because there's literally nothing stopping the majority from just going and being like, we're going to add 500 Democrat congressmen to the court, and none of them have a legal back, and they can just rule whatever the fuck. Like that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already a problem with the court. Well, I see it as a kind of problem with the court currently, where they have trouble getting standing on a lot of issues, right? So it's like, oh, I'm going in for a First Amendment thing. And then they're sitting there trying to figure out whether this person has standing to bring the case, for like 5 years. It's like, oh, well, technically, they dropped the charges, so there is no standing for you to come to the Supreme Court and get a decision.
Well, you can weaponize it on the aggregate. Like that's what I was kind of sort of getting at that a little bit with like SCOTUS can make an individual ruling on a specific component of the case, but they could use that to torpedo the entire case as well. Or when there's like constitutional questions, again, I don't know what the answer is, but like if they were to not be able to say rule on things as it pertains to abortion, then you can't rule on issues that have abortion in it, even if, for example, the thing that needs SCOTUS ruling in that case is not the abortion issue, because they would have to hear abortion to it, unless you somehow prevent them from seeing the case, right? Or like you have to just like go on the honor system and say, even though you see the whole case and all the arguments and so on and so forth, you just have to ignore the abortion. But that doesn't make any sense. Like I guess I don't know how it would work or how it would work in practicality, unless we're just like throwing it up to Congress now and letting Congress vote on it, which that's kind of scary from a legal precedent or a legal standpoint. But yeah.
Look, I mean, if I'm honest, I'll be fine with having this current Congress vote on it. I don't know about 2 to 4 years, but.
No. In general, congressmen are typically not lawyers, and even if they are, they're typically not ones that
they're not good lawyers when they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
My only concern right now is, as much as I love what Trump is doing with running roughshod with Doge, is what happens the next time the Dems are, because the Dems will, whether it's 4, 8, 12 years from now, they'll end up back in the White House. It's cyclical. I've come to terms with that. Will they run roughshod over whatever has been done by the conservatives at that point?
What are they gonna do? Like, seeing as he saved a lot of money, we're gonna spend a lot of money. That's got to be a bad look on him.
Is he really going to help with the debt? Do you guys really think so?
With what they're doing right now? I mean, it's not going to hurt.
I mean, they're objectively reducing spending right now, so you could say yes. The question isn't of are they going to help with it, is it going to be enough?
I think the best argument for what he's doing from a conservative perspective, to the extent I assume that you guys are interested in that, I would point you to like John Cochrane. I think his argument is, obviously, no, it's not going to do that much about spending, because if no one's talking about entitlements, then no one's serious about that. But what's important is like the U.S. AIDS thing is an example of, it's not really about the aggregate spending. It's how executive agencies are spending smaller amounts of money in extremely destructive ways. Like that,
they're all
that can't be
congressionally
understated,
voted on.
right?
They were
Look
all
at the
congressionally
$2.7 trillion in improper payments since 2003. $2.73 trillion.
For what?
Fucking
where
wild.
are you getting that information from?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Man, I'll send it to you.
Cool. Because
the problem with a lot of this, like, they cut insert thing, and it cost insert cost here, is that I don't see any chain of custody on these things, and I kind of need some receipts from
it's all congressionally. It was all voted on. Congress voted on every USAID thing. Like, nothing was surprise. Nothing was a shocker.
Well, but that's the argument about the Impoundment Act side of things, right? Like, now we're just that might be just a separate thing of whether or not the president can still basically exercise authority to not pay it anyway.
I believe Congress voted on a budget for USAID, but I think taxpayers were really fucking shocked to figure out that we were paying for fucking condoms in Gaza.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's all
How Congress like traditionally passes a budget for USAID, they're not voting on every line item that USAID is spending money on. They're giving it general vague goals and a rough budget, or even if they are, sometimes it's buried in like a massive omnibus bill as well. But this doesn't mean the president doesn't have like purview over a lot of things. He's going to get into issues if Congress tries to say like we want X amount of money to go to Y. Now with Chevron overturned, they might actually have to define explicitly how to do Y. But like the president can't necessarily say no to that to a degree. But like if it's in terms of like, okay, USAID is meant to, we want a department that helps people throughout the world, and we're giving it X budget, but it's not defined beyond that, which again, often cases it isn't. And the president can literally kind of determine that in this case with Chevron overturned.
I'm pretty sure they're all voted on. I'm trying to figure it out. Just
Well,
give me a minute.
There's also cases where it's just unambiguous, right? Like,
in that
like
case, seeing as you're making the claim that it's all voted on, how about y'all start finding these fucking bills where it says like we're sending fucking money to Gaza?
So they're not all voted on. In the case of executive agencies, if they do provide what their internal budget is going to be, it's not necessarily going to be a line for line. They're submitting a certain amount of money, to the Congressional Budget Office, and then whether they're going to get X or X plus insert pet projects here, those pet projects may be added on. And with, let's say USAID delineated as the responsible agency by a congressperson or a senator, but that's typically how the process works.
But I keep hearing these arguments of like anytime somebody comes in there, they'll say like, yeah, but this was all like passed by Congress. It was all voted on. It's like, I'd like to see that.
Well, doesn't it depend on the funding mechanism? Like I understand like if there's like a continuing resolution somewhere that authorizes like appropriations for some agencies, maybe, but like the CFPB, for example, like famously, that's just funded out of like money from the Federal Reserve. Like, I would think it's easier to make the claim there that Trump could do what he did, right? Which is say, we're going to appropriate exactly $0 for the CFPB.
But this goes back to what Jib was saying. There's like a certain amount of money is appropriated towards a certain ideology. Like, we want to provide support abroad or some shit like that, but not necessarily pointing out what that support is going to consist of.
Also, again, the president runs these branches. It's ultimately his job, or at least his administration's job, to define what they do and run them to a degree. So, like, if they go under budget, like there's no impetus for them to spend every penny. They don't have to. Like they can go under budget as well, which produces some interesting little conundrums here. But
well, that's the Impoundment Act argument, right? Like as I understand it, that's one of the legal disputes this is going to spark is whether or not he can choose to not spend any of it. Like it's one thing to say he has some discretion to not spend all, right? But,
I agree wholeheartedly. I think this is definitely going to be fought tooth and nail over.
Well, that's why, and people have talked about how, like, at the end of the day, like, the real actual like aid programs, like the the mosquito nets for a part of Africa where a new bad strain of malaria, mosquito-borne malaria, is present. At the end of the day, that's the sort of stuff that, like, it plays to Trump's ego. He probably wants that stuff to happen. And you know what? I think that most Americans, if we weren't like hemorrhaging money and we actually felt like we were in a okay spot, I think a lot of Americans might be down with a little bit of that sort of spending, maybe. But even if they weren't, that sort of stuff could be spent by the president based on his priorities for the image of what America is supposed to look like with our foreign policy. But that's why USAID should not be its own separate agency. It should be under the what's it called there, guys? The Department of State. It really should be.
Here's something interesting. Apparently, the Doge website now has like a savings tab, so they're gonna literally broadcast on full display for all to see. Literally every program that they find just being fucking abused.
So,
really,
this is good.
Like cutting,
this is good.
Cutting the Department of Education, is that good?
Yes.
Why?
Because of the fact that outside of delineating federal student loans, everything that they do could just be sent to the states as a block grant.
What do you think? How much money?
The Department of Education is unconstitutional. It's not in the Constitution. Therefore, it's left to the states. It should be left to the states.
That's not true.
I think
how much of the Department of Education's money do you think goes K through 12?
Again, the federal student loan.
It's not the federal government's. It's not the federal government's job to do education. It's the state's job. 10th Amendment.
You shouldn't have. You don't want to have well-rounded fucking kids to be better workers and help raise the GDP and all that.
The state.
I do. It's not obvious to me the Department of Education does that. Like,
you don't think there should be
I think the Department of Education is a good example of what I worry about. Actually, no, that's my problem. I think it's a good example of an agency where you can spend a relatively small amount of money in an extremely dangerous way. Like, it's not obvious to me like we want like a one-size-fits-all set of standards for students in very different environments and with very different possible career trajectories. But the Department of Education tries to do that, right? And to the extent they're not doing that, what can they do that the states don't?
You think that some states shouldn't have to teach math class because their state decides not to?
That's not going to happen.
That's the stupidest example ever.
Well, give me an example where it works better with states. It doesn't work that way. And we've had federal government. Federal government's been paying for school shit forever. They just had different names.
How's that going for us?
Yeah.
What do you mean? How's it going?
How's that going?
How bad do you think we are right now?
Our public education system is terrible, and it's funded by the government.
Yes, it is.
Do you know? No. Do you know that before the Department of Education, dropout rates were 15 to 30%? What do you think they are now?
Yeah, and the federal government doesn't get to take credit for that. The states get to take credit. Because the fact that they're not responsible.
Why are you blaming the federal government for all the problems? We don't give them any credit.
We're not blaming them. We're stopping spending money.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, guys. So, Dank, we're trying to answer your question. You just keep gish galloping on to the next thing and the next thing and talking over people. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to answer your question. At the end of the day, the things that ended up lowering the dropout rate had little to nothing to do with the federal government. It was states getting and taking education more seriously and more resources, mostly from the state. The federal government only provides about, on average, maybe 8 to 12% of, depending on the exact programs that you're looking at, of the budget for schools. Most of it is locally raised or state raised.
You're right.
So the federal government doesn't get to go and take credit for that.
So, Andy, in the case of Florida, for example, when they made the FCAT a thing, it actually decreased dropout rates because you would fail students sooner and realize that, oh my God, they can't even fucking read at a third grade level. How are they going to make it all the way to high school if they can't read?
Yeah.
So we've literally seen the dropout rates literally decrease after the FCAT was in place. Nothing the Department of Education did.
Yep, and it was literally the same. What you just said, it was the same thing here in Massachusetts with the
standardized testing.
Yeah,
simple little fix.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the one thing that will come out of cutting the DOE is going to be that there are states who are grossly underspending and are more reliant on the federal government, and those are tend to be Republican states.
Mm-hmm.
States like Oklahoma, states like Arizona, states like Texas are going to have to go and spend more of their state.
And that's a good thing to you? I don't know if it's me or you. Someone's cutting out.
Wouldn't you say that you also kind of?
I can't hear shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Frame. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me call back. What is going on? Let me check my shit. Do.
Quiet.
I think
So,
some people
I
are
looked-
having fucking voice problems.
I looked
I
at
thought that
that
was me.
2.7 trillion thing. So that's just kind of like a vague, like Doge is saying, overall they're identifying 2.7 trillion in
Yeah.
potential.
They're still
Like that's
looking
not saying
into
they
it.
found like 2.7
Well, it's
trillion
since
of it.
2003, and that kind of adds it all up. But the fucked up part is that it's Medicare and Medicaid going overseas, which is fucking wild. And apparently, and this one's not a
no, it's like literally everything. It's like unemployment insurance and SNAP. It's like everything.
yeah, and it's not surprisingly they're discovering people collecting Social Security who are technically dead, kind of thing.
No, that was them not understanding COBOL. No, I'm serious. Like the whole 2050 thing, that's them not understanding how COBOL worked. Or that was it the 1870 thing.
I have no idea.
Dates are weird in COBOL. They're 16-bit.
Completely legitimate and really, worthwhile cuts that should be made.
Yeah, they're not trying to fuck over actual Americans.
A lot of my
His quote was "Nobody bets 1,000."
Yeah, a lot of my friends that are working in contracting in the government, they're already talking about how certain things are breaking, like the state, like the fact that some people can't charge time if they are not in the office. Well, there's a lot of 24/7 like call centers and SOCs and stuff, and during a snow day, they can't charge the government for the snow day. So it's causing something to break in the government because it's a blanket, like, oh, you can't charge the government if you're not in the office. And so that's something they'll have to fix in the future. But I understand that they just wanted to figure out what needs to be fixed in the future. So that will be something they'll probably have to fix in the future. But they had to break it first, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think that you just worded it perfectly, Grant. They had to break it first. Unfortunately, breaking that temporarily right now is probably
I rather
it's collateral damage.
Yeah, I rather they fumble a few tables over and shit, and then just put them back together and just be like, all right, whoopsies, and then just keep going. I would rather have that than just like Well, we can't touch that because we don't understand it. Fucking understand it so we can fully audit everything. Thank you. Sign me up for this twice.
I really think that they're going to end up getting into the DoD, and they are going to find all sorts of shit that is.
Oh man!
Well,
if if a Doge employee dies, you know they found some crazy shit, and they.
I don't really know how much penetration they're going to get into the DoD because clearance
I would
is
not
going
touch
to quickly
that shit.
become a problem.
Well, so I don't disagree with you about that, but
boring. What it do, baby booze?
Yo, yo, yo. Talking about senses and
visual science.
Yep.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to go get my remote and shit so we're gonna play Brawl.
What do you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I need to finish.
No, you can go. Keep going.
This is like such a cool thing. So the visual system, yeah, the visual area 1 starts with colors and differentiation between dark and light colors, and that's how you form shapes. And then visual area 2 is based on angles and lines, and then visual area 3 is vestibular system, and your balance and your sense of balance and your sense of being aligned when you're looking at something. So this one, it goes on 21-degree angles. This is so crazy. So you can test this by tilting your head 90 degrees. And so look at a center point, look at an object, and then start tilting your head. And sometimes you'll notice after 21 degrees, you notice a snap. It's like your visual system kind of resets every 21 degree shift.
Oh, okay.
Do you see it?
It's like an oscillatory thing. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I might be able to.
Sometimes you have to test it in different lighting and different situations, but yeah, some people notice this more than others. I notice it a lot.
Oh, what? Oh, stupid.
Dude, it's like flip, 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 flip. It's so crazy. So yeah, we're
around the body more. I gotta fall over more. I gotta fucking. I gotta be sloppier so I can. No, I'm just kidding. I just I don't pay that much attention to it. I should. What's that word? Proprioception, right? Like perception of like bodily orientation and shit, right? Like.
Yeah, proprioception is how you predict your predictive processing brain predicts how your body will move. This is how you're allowed to continue walking and like falling as you walk. Each leg catches your fall as you're going. But also it allows you to predict the movement of other objects so that you can catch a baseball or pick up something off the ground as it's rolling, like a baseball.
Oh man.
So proprioception.
Fucking. What are curves, man? What, dude? I swear to God. The nature
Vision
of
is crazy. Yeah, let me see how much brain real estate does the visual system take up.
Oh yeah, I wonder. Dude, there's so many numbers that we could know.
Dude, yeah, estimates suggest that 50% of the brain's cortex is dedicated to processing visual information. This means that nearly half of the brain's surface is involved in vision.
Jesus.
Making it the sense that occupies the most real estate in the brain.
Are they saying that surface area is like basically functional fucking?
It's neocortex, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know shit about the surface. I don't even like. There's so much shit I don't even know about the brain. I just fucking am like looking at it from a non-specific way. Which isn't good.
Did I ever send you that super complicated graph of the entire? It's not a graph; it's just a depiction showing all these crazy lines connecting all the parts of the brain.
Was it the McGilchrist thing, or is it something?
No. This is something.
I want to see the whole fucking thing. I gotta fucking see this thing.
I'll show you. It looks like some meth head.
Look into the hood. I always feel like I'm like, it's so weird having a body and it's like. Okay, well, I got some guts in there. They're doing things. I don't really know what they're doing exactly, but they're there.
Practice that interoception, bro. Do the body scan, Kaya Anuprasana meditations.
Does I feel every part of your body? Can you feel
that's super useful.
Can you feel every organ of your body? You
I haven't tried to go that far with it. There's
oh, that's my liver. Yes,
there's 78 organs. So I don't know if you.
It's reading at a 0.73 of. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there's 78 organs in the brain. I mean, in the body.
Oh.
Yeah, the body has 78 organs in total. And the most mysterious one is the thymus. So the thymus is kind of like around your collarbone, I think, and it's like once you start aging, your thymus ages at the rate that you age. So there's some kind of tie between the thymus and regulation of all other organs, it seems, which is really weird.
Get it out of there.
Find the medication to fix the thymus. That's the anti-aging medication.
That Tony Stark fucking tear that shit. No, I'm just kidding. The reactor.
Right, yeah.
The reactor.
Oh man, I gotta find this. So I have so many freaking images. I try to keep it organized. Yeah, this one. I'll drop this in the chat right here. Oh, how do I access the chat like this? Look at this freaking meth job.
See the meth.
Look at how complicated this shit is. So the dude that made these two diagrams is actually religious. I think it's really funny.
Dude, what? This guy's a mad motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's really good. And so if you look into this, it's actually got so he has this kind of theory on his website where he's trying to I don't mean to like talk shit about the guy. This is incredibly good work. But I just noticed the thing where he's trying to like make explanations for why men can be perverts more than women.
Oh. Why men can be, or like in a normative sense, or
why men they sexualize women, and you can see images in the diagram where it shows like a woman's body, and there's like lines going to this particular part of the brain. And he has writing in this website describing it in detail as well. But it's such
women have places they look at a man too, though. It's like
of course, but apparently it's more so with men.
I don't know.
They've been tested on that too. But yeah, so
I guess
the highest of it's called the highest of the mountains.
They're very visual, unfortunately. But we're like creatures. We're fucking creatures. That's what. I don't know. That's our that's our electromagnetic thing for us as.
We are until we can transcend it with mindfulness and tap into this mysterious ability that we have to metacognize and gain more control over this deterministic system that we call the meat machine of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is the website, thehighestofthemountains.com, and it is a great website. This dude has a lot of philosophy about the spirit and the construction of laws, and you can see at the top he has the servant and the prophecy and the allegories, the pilgrims and the way. But it's also really detailed descriptions on how the brain works and really interesting facts, but also very highly applicable facts.
Yeah. Okay.
Stimulus.
Yeah. That map is insane, dude. Let me see.
Yeah, you can get this as a poster. I kind of want to as well.
Dude, hell yeah! Like what other poster would there be to get? Like
exactly.
Nuts. Like, yeah. I was just looking at this thing. Yeah, this is what it's called. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good to have reference points. That's why I use this logical fallacies poster I made, and the one for the hemispheres of the brain. I got to make a lot more though. I got some more posters to make.
So like computer looking.
Yeah, you can stare at that for hours, and I've learned a lot by looking at it with my eyeballs. The second one's easier to understand. The second one, you can probably work your way through the second one in about an hour or so. The top one is really next level.
Yeah, I wonder, dude. Like, what's a natural information network like in the brain? Like, what's it like being in there? I don't know. I was thinking, dude, because like
that's phenomenology.
Right,
what
but
is it
like
like to be inside a brain?
Right, but I was thinking earlier, like in a lot of ways, like protecting your knowledge or whatever. It's almost like a snake protecting its eggs in a sense, you know. Like I feel like these like patterns of like protection and like tending and stuff like that are sort of like repeated. You know what I mean? Like these just embodied, like there's like an embodiment. I feel like that is there. You know, like a primitive embodiment in the mind that hasn't quite been developed.
It's definitely for sure. It's probably going to take us hundreds or thousands of years, probably a good another 1,000 years to really get at the fundamentals of phenomenology.
Like, yeah, I mean,
some agreed upon standards of what it's like to be a human. It's the hard problem of consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
What is it like to be a bat? What's it like to be inside a human brain? We have existentialism and Sartre's idea that existence precedes essence, and you kind of make it up for yourself.
Self-referential function, like, you know, like a catapult that's, you know, pieing itself. I don't know. It's fine.
That's what psychology is trying to examine.
Yeah, it's like a, you know, there's always a stamp in a sense, like but it's like a tear too, I think. The tear just keeps going. Dude, oh yeah, so like I saw this thing where like a cell was dividing or whatever, and like at the end there was like a little tear mark, and I feel like that's just like a copy of information, right? Like that's like a instantaneous like imprint, like that last tear, just like a two-way shift, like a bunch of dice like rolling one way or the other, you know. I don't know how to say it. I fucking swear to God, computation is everywhere. Like,
this is an interesting metaphor. I was talking with my friend Michelle about that earlier.
What's that? What's the metaphor?
The metaphor of dice. She said that human experience is kind of like having a whole bunch of dice in a giant tub, and you shake it up, and then it resettles or something. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like a cycle. There's a cycle. I swear to fucking God, there's a set of cycles. We are on a set of cycles that have cycles also going on inside those cycles, or those intervals inside. You know, it's like a
systems within systems. Yeah, that's definitely the case. I mean, that's biological.
Tower, and then the elevator resets us all the way back to the next day, and then we go up the tower again, and then reset.
Here, it's crazy right now. Yeah. So I'd like to get Wally on the conversation here too. So this video I sent y'all a couple videos, I think, with Schmachtenberger, Nate Higgins. This is really profound. There's what's called a social philosopher, where it's people that study the meta-crisis, or the polycrisis, some people call it that, where they're examining all of the interplaying problems of the world and why they're problematic, and how one person's decision can have third and fourth order consequences that can't be predicted. And it's this is the energy crisis. Higgins has a theory he's been working on for a while called the energy superorganism, and he thinks of that as kind of its own area where it's kind of growing beyond our recognition. We consume more energy without replacing it because of Jevons paradox. And Jevons paradox is this idea that with every innovation, we assume that we can just use more of that thing. So an example is the invention of the light bulb. Well, we couldn't use too many light bulbs because they required a lot of energy and heat, and they produced a lot of heat, so we had to limit the amount that we used them. But then we invented the LED light, the light emitting diode, and that very much reduced the amount of energy and the amount of heat that it put off. So instead of that reducing the problem, we just started consuming more and started using LED lights all over the place. And so That's called Jevons paradox. There are many examples of this where it's not just saying convenience. We love convenience. It's this kind of system where you can show many examples where because an innovation happens, we're tempted to use it more because we're tricked by the idea that it's more efficient to do so. We think we're being more responsible when we buy LED lights, and so we do that. Kind of like the Tesla car. Like we know that to build a Tesla requires a lot of oil or a lot of actual gas-powered machinery, and yet wealthy conservatives will buy them as if it's making a statement or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think. Yeah, I've seen that before. It's like a sign of intelligence to them, right? It's a signal of intelligence. It's like
Or it's the way they're doing virtue signal
or whatever. Yeah, like, dude, it's like a whole simple system. You know, I swear to God. I feel like a lot of the problem is just like people can't lock the fuck in and like figure shit out. They're just zombies in the flow, you know, with the school of fish that's moving like this, not moving outside the lines, you know, like there's like a fucking information flow. I fucking swear to God. They're like in traffic, forever in traffic. How much Doctor Who have you watched?
What?
How much Doctor Who have you watched?
Oh, Doctor Who. I watched all of it except for the first early seasons from back in the day.
Oh, I watched. I liked John Pertwee's. I didn't watch the black and white ones, but like the third Doctor, I really liked him. Okay, so there was an episode, you know, where they were stuck in traffic for like generations, you know. So like, how long until we get there? You know, it was a weird episode, but it was like an alien planet or whatever. Then they just accepted that they were gonna be taking like 20 years or whatever to get to their destination. I don't remember the name of this episode. I think it was one with what's his face as the Doctor before David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston, and it was just fucking weird. But that's what it reminds me of. Like when you brought up The Last Man, I swear to God, that made me. And then I like let that marinate for a while. Like I swear people are just in a last man state, you know, sort of, you know, stuck in the lines, stuck in traffic, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, people use the term business as usual, and we continue going along with business as usual. And most conservatives conform to that more than most liberals. But liberals also do this Jevons paradox thing where they think that they're making a difference by buying a Tesla, or they think that they're making a difference by buying LED lights, but they actually end up buying more LED lights, and just add to the problem.
I see. Okay.
So everything, it's like we use this phrase, everything's connected, and everything you do and everything you don't do has consequences. So choose wisely, but that's kind of a surface level way of thinking of that. If you really want to delve deep into just how many consequences there are and how butterfly effects work in politics and sociology, this is what Schmachtenberger and Huygens are looking at.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing that no humble person wants to fucking think about. Like, we're just sort of ahead of people on a metacognitive level. Like, that's what being like a student of psychology or being a philosopher is. Nobody wants to say that. It's like that's the dialectic position that we're at, like the tier level, and all we can really do is leave behind breadcrumbs. Like that's, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta change the narrative, that's for sure. Or like give people like examples of how to change the narrative themselves and create powerful stories. And if people relatable concepts, you know, break it down in a easily accessible language and then expand on that language as you go forward.
Yeah, and like a lot of my problem is I gotta actually, you know, improve my life. So, you know, it's all in tandem. It's all self-empowering cycle from here on forward in life. Jesus, fucking bird.
Wanna play some Brawl?
Sure.
Yeah, is Wally here now?
I've been here.
Is he ready?
I've been ready since yesterday.
What am I doing?
Oh.
Here comes Mitch.
It's Mr. Fuck Republicans.
Yep.
Straight up. And that's so bold.
I don't give a fuck anymore. Call them out. I don't give a fuck.
Burn them all.
Burn them.
I was in the Republican room talking shit. Don't worry, I got us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went in there and you repeated the joint. You just fucking.
Oh, I hung out. And then they started talking about some dumb shit. I'm like,
Wet bandits.
Stuff that I didn't care about. I'm like, yeah, it's getting boring. I gotta go.
Yeah, they're easy. That's why I don't even fucking bother with them.
Yeah, there's like 12. It's always like 12 on one. They're all like, make kids smarter and that kind of shit. Pell Grants, all that kind of shit, you know?
Is it only like $2 billion? It's only $2 billion. Why is everybody harping over the small numbers?
No, it's 238.
Nobody looks at the full picture.
238 billion.
Yeah,
okay.
that's an incredibly small number.
Still.
I mean,
relative,
yeah, I'm saying it's still a small number, but I mean, it's more than 2 billion.
Medical.
It's like what, 1/10, or no, 1/5, 1/30th of the bill, sort of, or of our budget. So
it's insane. Yeah, and if it's going to colleges, that's also not the best. We need to be supporting the earlier public education.
So no, so I was reading into it more. So our government, whatever, is ran basically. Our education system is ran on 50 independent school districts or whatever. Like, we don't have a federal government thing. Even like the Department of Education, all they're supposed to do is really just hand out money to certain schools for like special needs kids and shit like that. Like I said, most of it goes to Pell Grants to pay for loans for kids and shit like that. That's where most of it goes. Or research that schools do. Give them, like, you know, if you give the U of M $100 million to research into like medical shit, that's what they do, you know, with it. That's where most of the money goes.
That's good, but that's because it has return on investments. It seems because the medical industry, we have the medical industrial complex.
Part of it, yeah. I mean, that is definitely part of the play.
But God forbid we teach philosophy to K through 12, philosophy for children, like they're doing in the UK.
Want you brainwashing my Daryl fucking Kevin Jr.? I don't know.
Xander.
What's the room name? I can't see it in your shit.
It's 758463. Oh yeah, sorry.
75846.
463.
463. Bam.
Yeah,
Well, there's like a Kiki Bauba fucking simple sign cluster, some shit you can associate between the two liberals and conservatives. Like there's a fucking like flavor difference.
Well, so we started off
saying?
arguing about like this guy was talking about like he's not sure. Like I was like trying to explain like our judicial system is like it was okay. What was it? It was originalist text versus interpretive text. Like how do you want your judges to rule? Do you want your judges to be original? Like think about like, you know, like here's what the law was at the time. We got to only think about it as at the time, or can we do it in a informalist where you can fucking look at the words of it and try to interpret it any way you want to make it, you know, fit, you know, as long as you can build an argument around the words. And they're mostly for originalists. Like we got to think about. I'm like, really? So I'm saying. So my argument, my point was, in the shit when it says "we the people," they didn't mean women and they didn't mean black people. So if you take it as literal, you know, like as an originalist, you always have to take the phrase "we the people."
This is why we need
as
a
only white
natural
people, you know,
transgender
white men,
morality.
you know, like
so we can be like, okay, well, why should we have this law? All right, let's look at every single thing and then like all the effects, like and how a societal structure would look like with this particular proposed thing intact. You know what I mean? Like we just keep fucking looking at it from a.
That's quick.
What?
That turned the damage up.
Yeah, he kicked my ass real quick. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, I didn't even know the number was cocksuckers.
Well, no, we were fucking around, bro. We've been waiting for you forever.
Hey, fucking around, bro. Take too long. No, I jacked the damage up to like 300%. So
I seen that. It was like 2 hits. All of a sudden, I was like, dude, 2 hits, I'm dead already. Fucking hey.
People don't like words. How do people like cocksucker? People don't like fucking. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I would have came in earlier, but I was in in a convoy down in Forza Horizon 5. We were driving around, and everybody started leaving. Then it started getting chaotic, and people were shut the fuck up. They were over talking. I'm just
what is going on? I'm super glitchy.
All right, shut up, cocksuckers. Shut up.
I'm glitchy as shit. I can't. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going back over
it's a funny word though. Like this is a funny word.
I'm glitchy as shit. I gotta get out here.
It's so aggressive. It's so
It
aggressive.
is, but it's like funny too. It's fucking weird.
It's because of movies and shit. It's gangsters.
Deadwood.
Brandy, you ready to play?
Is funny to me.
Suckers move
Oh yeah, give me that fucking room number. I'm waiting. I'm awaiting computation input.
It's 75.
You're waiting for me.
84.
Yes.
63.
Yes.
You got it? I seen it with my own eyes.
So yeah, Wally, I saw on Facebook you posted something about the RFK Jr. Trying to ban like antidepressants and shit. Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot too. But you did post a Vanity. Yeah, you did post a Vanity Fair article. To be fair.
Oh, I know. I was just sharing my buddy's article. I even said it like that's probably not the best source, but still, like I've watched this. I told the lady I was like, dude, I've watched this shit for fucking. I watched him do his whole fucking talk, dude. I watched word for word everything. Like I know what this guy knows and thinks and believes. Like you're probably right. Like you're right to question. Like I understand. Like because I even said like if you look at all the shit I ever post, I always post like actual like NIH or CDC like real fucking documents. Like this is just breaking news. So this is just like one of like 3 people to mention it.
That's crazy. What an idiot. I mean, antidepressants are extremely dangerous. That's for sure, and they probably do more bad than good, but people still need them.
They do have a lot of reverse side effects.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're fucking somebody's brain sense to it, you know.
But I'd rather have that than
well, no. How about dude? In general, it comes down to me, dude. Like, what happened to fucking? Why can't me and my fucking doctor make that choice? Like, what happened to that whole thought process?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
if the doctor
right?
says it's fucking better for me to fucking be on these things, and I agree and everything like that, like, what the fuck are we arguing about?
Yeah, it's just like he's a professional.
Well, because
a lot of companies do shit.
It's the same chick that I argue with all the time, and she's all about like individual freedom and blah blah blah. You know, because I should have the right to think and do what I want. I'm like, okay, but now you're telling these people they don't have the right to think. And
Look at a husband.
Our eyes, you know, like what happened to that whole thought process of individuals?
A lot of people are contributing to the economy by using SSRIs to get through the workday.
Dude, there's a lot of things, dude. Even it was funny because this one Republican chick that I always argue with, she was like, "They better not take my SSRIs away." I'm like, "Bitch, I'm trying to warn you. Like, this is the fuck around find out stage. You're in the find out."
Weird, dude.
Like, this is what we told you was gonna happen. I don't know why the fuck you think it's so shocking that we told you this is gonna happen.
Get out of here.
You know.
So like, who's a hammer in Super Smash Bros? Fucking King DDD, maybe.
Oh yeah, the mallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, King DDD is the shit.
Yeah, I like King DDD, dude. I like power characters, you know?
You like the big fatties.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Big boys.
Ganon's a fucking powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like...
Yeah.
But he's like Captain Falcon. That's the only thing. I wish he had a little bit more difference from Captain Falcon.
Yeah.
He's a slower and heavier Captain Falcon.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Oh, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Oh, I only got 1 life.
Oh, fucker.
Well, I thought that was me.
That was me.
I just zoned in. I'm like, what? I've already gone.
Hello, Vern.
I need to get my my attack game down, but my
in a game like this, yeah, you better get your attack game down.
My frames per second is you know not bad right now. I'm locked in. Whoa, 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 whoa,
As you commit
whoa,
suicide.
Woo!
Follow up.
Oh,
Come back.
I had the cognitive load to.
I'll give you a cognitive load.
I'll just give you a load.
Yeah. I'll give you a cognitive load.
Oh, dude, that was a cool fucking move.
Yeah, my down special is an up special. Look at this. That's the down special.
It's like Dalton. Yeah, this chick's good for me. Oh no.
She's your new boo, huh?
Oh, you son of a bitch! Come on.
Spikes.
Gimme.
Oh, she's a little too. She needs more in her toolkit.
She's in her bag.
Dude, I want to see what Isaiah's about, though, man.
Money.
I'm just picking rando, baby. Rando.
Dude.
I like Isaiah. I will say I played with him last time. He was pretty dope.
He's pulling out a gun and shit. You holding it
Yeah,
sideways?
SSRI is more complicated, though. I still don't know how to think about this. Because you're infringing on people's rights either way. I mean, when you go to a therapist, you risk being manipulated in so many ways. Even if they're perfectly trained through the university, you're still putting yourself in a vulnerable position.
Why are they anti-SSRI? Sorry, am I interrupting? Am I being a piece of shit?
I can't remember. Fucking what was it? He thinks that it causes problems. I can't remember what problems.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
This is gonna cause a lot more problems.
It does.
Oh, dude.
Makes you not be able to come.
Oh, yeah, that's not
That's
fun.
all drugs for me, though.
It's pretty lame. I mean, I used an anti-anxiety medication once, but that did not feel good.
Boom.
Or no, it was an SSRI. Yeah, it was SSRI. What am I saying?
I'm off of them now, so that's good. Oh, dude.
Too bad my shit's genetic.
What?
Not an excuse. Contribute to the economy.
Make your money, which is fine. I mean, make money. That's fine.
Get back in the
Like I
fight.
said, I don't even care if people get rich. Just fucking be rich. Just
Oh!
don't be overly rich.
Yeah. Don't be greedy. You can
Yeah,
be
that's
rich,
what I'm
just spread the wealth.
So I'm saying we can be
Yeah,
rich. That's
exactly.
fine.
Like billionaires shouldn't exist.
That's right.
Yeah.
Should not.
Millionaires are
Yeah.
fine. I have no problem with millionaires for the most part.
I don't like multi-millionaires. I don't like 100 millionaires.
Yeah.
There's a definite line there. So they did studies on examining how quality of life goes when you have a certain amount of money, and the average is about
70.
once you have 70 to 100K. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
I've
you
heard
have
that study.
everything you possibly, and then you get diminishing returns.
Yep.
After that, you're just buying.
Well,
pleasure.
then you're, at that point, you're just at greed. That's my whole point. Like, once you get to like a certain
It's just-
level,
yeah, you're
like I'm
operating
saying,
on
if you make 100 grand a year and you do that for like 50, like 20, 30 years, yeah, you're gonna have some. You're gonna have like probably like $10 million. Like that's fine. But like I'm saying, like we're saying, like hundreds, like $350 million or whatever. Like oh Jesus Christ.
Throw my weapon more. Yeah, I mean, if the idea is that money will solve all of our problems and people are keeping the money to themselves,
Yeah.
then they're not going along with the narrative that money will solve all of our problems. Because they could be giving that money away to solve the problems. It's like when people, was it FEMA or was it FEMA? It was an organization. They met Elon Musk's goal. Elon Musk said, if you show me a diagram where I could solve the majority of the world's problems with what was it, $6 billion, and he would give that $6 billion away. And it was multiple organizations showed him many strategies to use that to completely eradicate world poverty and world hunger, and many other just the basic first levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and he just didn't do it. He's like, nope, here's an exception. Here's a possible exception and another exception. I mean, when you keep looking from the lens of exceptions, then you're just being greedy, and you deserve no compassion.
It's having the conclusion before, and so you look for evidence that supports your conclusion, basically.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Isaiah's pretty cool. He's a little tricky to learn, but he's
Right.
very cool.
I like his timing, dude.
It is.
Yeah, he's really.
It's got a big. He's got a big window, but he's got to learn how to use it right.
Yep. Take my kill.
Boom, bitch. Get out the way.
Like, what's his face in Surviving the Game? Fucking.
Boom, bitch. Oh, no. I got.
I got gout.
You got gout? You eat too much meat, bro. Boom. Oh, I fucking should have downed you. Boom.
I'm getting my ass handed to me.
Boom, bitches.
Bro, I'm almost in the black.
Dude, that's racist.
We're all in the black. Dude, I feel like been saying so much shit that's like more or less racist.
It's
like
just funny.
that's all I can think. I don't know why. Dude, I hate it though, like, cause it's not even racist.
I know it's not. It's just funny. That's why I say it.
You got that
like,
white guilt.
I know
White
exactly.
guilt.
Like,
I don't have to worry about that because I'm Middle Eastern.
I'm half Middle Eastern, bro.
Oh, word? Okay.
Dude, I'm half Lebanese,
both
bro.
my- Sweet,
why you
I'm
guys
happy.
creating divisions?
Dog.
Why you guys using identity?
Because we don't like you
That's
fucking
true.
whiteys. White people are just the worst. We know this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I got a little Native American, so I agree.
Dog. Just because you fucked one doesn't mean you have a little one in you.
No, not me.
Not me.
I didn't fuck myself.
Boom! I need to get this. No, I knew it was gonna be fucking fine.
Shit, what am I gonna do?
Boom! No!
Dude,
down
the
to the
last
wire.
minute's been a blur.
No!
Been a blur.
No, you motherfucker! Oh, son of a bitch.
Look at how much damage I took.
Dog. Dude, there's a budget bag.
My homie Isaiah just getting
Damage
fucked
we did.
up, man.
Oh, fuck.
Vivi's really fun too. All right, I'll play Isaiah. Oh, yeah, I have him.
Yeah, you
I'm
play
just-
him. You play him. Yeah, check him out, dude.
I got my special bonus.
Otis.
Never used this character.
Dude, I gotta find some other person to buy at some point. Thor.
This new chick.
I'm going for the new check. I need 7,200.
Oh, yeah, I
I need
remember her.
I need less than 2,000.
I'm fuck with Loki again.
Hey, you'll get it this week if you log in over the next 4 days. You'll get that because they got a plus 500 coin bonus this week.
Cool.
Yup. So plus whatever else you get, logging in.
My fucking knees, I swear to God, sitting in this chair ain't good.
Stand up.
I don't have a standing
Solution focused
chair.
mindset, boy.
I don't have a standing chair, fucking Patrick.
What is a standing chair?
A standing desk. You can get one of those standing desks, though.
Standing chair, bro. I'm just being a fucking idiot.
And what is the chair has multiple essences as Plato decreed. Plato knows what's
Property
up.
of standing, bro. The property of standing. If you stand in the chair, does it have the property of standing? If you can.
That's right. Yeah, it has the essence of a standability.
Oh, do properties exist? I guess Quine became a
Yeah, Quine and Plato and all these guys are talking about that. Is like the essence existence precedes essence.
I think so.
It's kind of like
so
the essence precedes existence. It seems.
I want to try something.
okay.
No idea what I'm doing. Oh my god, you're using fucking Loki.
Okay, but there's like a condition for relations or like how their outcomes, then there has to be
What?
some property that conditions that. So properties would be prior to value. Or quality or whatever.
Yeah, the stick has the essence of being turned into a spear. Or a picking tool, like the chimp. The chimp notices the essence of the stick before he calls it a stick. Yeah. Yeah, am I right in thinking that way? So the chimp they learn tools and they use ants as medicine, or they use certain bugs to treat illnesses in certain plants. So they
like
don't know these
affordances,
words.
dude. Affordances when it comes to this shit. It's like that's like what I started thinking about like a few weeks ago or a week ago or whatever.
Totally.
Like in nature, like the stick is an affordance.
Yeah.
When it is
has
turned
that
into
essence.
a tool.
It has a natural instinct that's provided by its existence.
Like a possible
And our brains
utility
figure
or whatever.
that out because our brains have needs too. So the brain kind of applies that essence to it. So like that's less of an affordance based perspective on that, I guess.
Oh, so it's a
it's a survival instinct to use the stick as a tool to get more bugs.
Was it like an association thing? Is it like all associations, like realizing abstract association forms or whatever?
I don't know.
What is the condition for us first using a stick? If we take a blank slate type. See, here's the thing: blank slate doesn't even apply because there's always
which is wrong.
a behavior set that precedes the like.
It's culture, brother. Culture.
Creation of an instinct, you know, like there's always a tabula rasa, like
there's some instincts,
pathway to it, to the formation of the instinct. No, there is instinct. I'm just saying, like the whole process itself is like recursive, like before an instinct is even started. You know, like it's a gradual movement toward having that instinct.
My ass kicked.
Hell yeah, get your ass get.
Boom, bitch.
Oh,
I got talking shit, bro. I got you back.
Okay, so like the first time we ever saw fire, you know, it was or even used fire, it was a lightning strike or something, right? So
probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably borrowed fire from a stick that was already on fire, and then we figured out how to preserve it.
Yeah, and then like okay, so like a stick would first be used for what? Like a spear for us, I guess, or a general touching device.
Hard to say. Yeah, what came first, instinct or essence? I guess is the question. How much do we apply romanticism when we talk about things as essences, as affordances, or essences and affordances? This is why I believe strongly in the necessity of affordance. I mean, of romanticism. Like, it's okay to romanticize things. You have to. That's what makes art beautiful. That's what makes poetry beautiful. It's all romanticism.
I think types are natural, so I think a lot of our like fear that we're outlining categories that don't exist in nature is unfounded.
Yep. Right.
Ooh, I lucked into that one.
No
I
idea
didn't
what
mean
you're
to do
that. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, so like I guess the question is like what are the best principles by which to construct a formal system in a sense? Damn it.
Yeah, that's what we want to find out, because then you get the best, like when you find the most optimal axioms to work from, and you have the best outcome from those axioms. That's why we keep debating what's the most fundamental aspect of reality and all that.
Like, oh my god, yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Wow.
Like the ontological reference of psychology, right? Like what is the primary value for equations? Like, what are we trying to measure? Like happiness, I guess, or like what's happiness? What is happiness?
What is happiness?
trying to help think
about nice longboarding.
Like, think about like fucking like honeybees and like how they gather nectar or whatever, and they bring it back to the hive or whatever. I don't know when the honey gets made, but they go out and gather this shit, you know. And I feel like in our brains, in a way, we're looking for, you know, sort of like flowers that need to be pollinated or something, you know. And then when there's no more regions that need to be pollinated, then we go into the fun stuff, or you know.
Oh man, you know what? That's your notion that your idea that you're getting at here is something that Eric Weinstein has been talking about for a while about science. That science, and I don't recommend listening to Weinstein. He's in his own little world, and he's very egomaniacal.
He's a Weinstein.
He's a Weinstein. Just enough said. But he's one of those guys. So yeah, he does make this point about the idea that science it's been picking from different orchards, and all of the orchards are dried up, and it's time to move to another orchard. So he thinks the next orchard is probably going to Mars, or taking on another major project that's it'll cause us to challenge our sciences in a new way. But that's different from philosophy.
This guy, he sounds like a nerd. He doesn't sound like he knows what the fuck he's talking about, but or maybe he does. I don't know.
In most cases, he just has cool ideas, and then he talks about those ideas, and he thinks that they're better than they actually are. But sometimes he does have really good insights on.
People might, hear things we say, you know, and think woo-woo stuff like transcendence. Like no, like it's kind of there. Like it's just the whole notion of like fusing together quote unquote frames in a sense, you know, like we fuse things together. Like that's like how our brain fucking works. I fucking swear to God, like in general, like you go all the way down, you peel back the layers, you find something that was fused together, you know, as a subroutine or a routine. Like we've fucking accumulate routines, you know, and we can sort of peel them all back and figure out their rule set. I think right now, as of this moment.
Well, I'll tell you what I think, buddy. I think you need to pick a character.
Huh?
I think you need to pick a character.
Oh, pick a character. Is that a statement about my? Is that metaphorical?
Statement
of also in there's dual meanings with that.
Your MD and
is that a lot of personality already? Figure yourself out.
Dual meanings a lot. Like that's like sort of where my brain's at.
Do worry about that. We're presented a lot of different personalities to gravitate towards, especially with the advent of social media. And now people are having existential crises and dissociative identity disorder, and then they're pathologizing that instead of thinking that is a natural property of life. And oops, sorry, I picked the wrong side. We're all supposed to change,
you know,
changing times.
People have to figure out. So it's just like, okay, what do I want to become in my lifetime, right? Like, what's efficient? Like, because as soon as you stop moving forward, you're just moving backwards, right? That's my fucking feeling on it. Like, as soon as
you're stagnant,
you can tell. Yeah, you can tell. Like, if there's a resonance that says like, I am escaping from life and just being in like a certain cycle, you know, that's comfortable. And I don't know. People just gotta fucking be honest with themselves. I feel like that principle in itself is so important. Like, be honest first and foremost. Like, there was a thing I think we're defining something about like first and foremost, like you are easy to fool, or whatever, or like the easiest to fool, or don't be fooled. You are the easiest to be fooled.
Yep, that's James Randi. Basically, he says the same shit.
Okay, yeah.
I'm getting stomped.
Come on, you son of a bitch. Come on. No. Woo!
It's madness.
Oh, you stupid cocksucker. Fucking ramming piece of shit.
Get Falcon punch! Falcon punch! Falcon! Falcon punch! Falcon punch! Falcon punch! Falcon punch!
Wait, what did I just?
Falcon!
How did I just die?
Falcon punch! Falcon!
Fucking
Falcon!
punch!
Punch! Punch! Punch!
Jesus. God. Never.
Oh my
Please don't
god,
pick
we
this.
let Brandon win?
That's 2 games in a row. Nice job. I know I Yeah, I think
claimed my victory.
I claimed it in the name of the Lord.
In the name of the law.
The Lord has brought us victory.
Why does everybody just like, oh, Mars, like it's like a fucking like
Why don't you
Monster of the
fix your own
Flame
planet?
thing? Like people can't get their fucking heads in the abstract. I
Why don't
swear
we
to
just
God,
fix
that's
our
all
own
it is.
goddamn planet? How about that?
Just
Yeah,
fucking,
I mean-
just inject the internet into my brain so I can fix everything,
Bruh.
or we can. I'm just
Bruh.
kidding, because I would be.
Why don't we just talk
fucking
about
stupid.
fixing our own planet instead of other planets?
I know.
We can start there. Then if we fix our planet, maybe like, hey, maybe we can fix other planets.
We gotta find the
Yeah,
guy that made
that's-
this meth map of the brain. Fucking feed everything to his brain.
Again, Brandon, you always go too goddamn big.
I know.
Inject the internet into my brain.
I mean, I get it. That's what we're gonna do
I'm joking.
eventually.
I'm joking.
The other way around, all of our brains are being injected into the internet with our ideas. And so we inject all of that internet into the AIs, and then they act as the omniscient overlords who will hopefully bring us peace and fix all the world problems. But the way that Weinstein is putting it is that he thinks of it in reverse, where if we go to Mars, that'll challenge science to create new sciences that we can then apply to Earth to better improve Earth. But he doesn't talk about that very much. He just kind of said that on one podcast.
I don't want these idiots going to fucking Mars and ruining that planet.
I mean, then again, yeah, if they all the billionaires.
I want to see that shit terraformed and like beautiful. Like I want to see it. I want to fucking.
Well,
see
it won't be
I wanna
unless we're
fucking
there, honestly.
Watch it.
You won't.
What do you mean?
Well, because it's not going to do it by itself. It needs us to inject.
Well,
like,
right.
So I mean, like, you're never going to see that
I
without
know,
us.
I
So
know,
like, you
yeah.
you need us there. But the thing is, like I said, honestly, if we fixed our planet first and then went to Mars, I'd be much more excited about it than, like I said, watching our
like
Earth burn
polluting.
to fucking death and then be like, hey, we're gonna go fix this planet. Like, no, let's fix the one we got first. Like I said, if we can
Yep,
fix our
it's
problems like that, then by all means, go to Mars and fucking
Like
conquer that
introducing
bitch.
a broken program, dude. It's a fucking fresh planet. I fucking swear to God. You guys say I'm going too big. No, I don't. I know what I'm doing.
Well, no. The thing
do
is,
you
again,
know?
no,
Everything.
I can tell you, it's evolution. You have an overarching theme. Now you got to fucking do 7-10 things before that to get to that problem.
I know.
Like that's
I
the thing.
know.
You got to make a structure
A
of
target
ideas.
point is good. A target point. There's
Yes,
always
but you got to make a structure underneath
target.
it. You can't just be like, I'm going to do this without doing like the 15 other things you got to do in between.
Be process conscious. I'm fucking hungry, dude.
Let him go and get something to eat.
That or come on the goddamn game.
Right
We're
on.
waiting for you to pick a
God.
character again.
Character.
Is that as simple as it gets? If hungry, then go get something to eat.
It used to be.
playing games.
No.
Exactly.
That,
Life.
honestly, if you got to get philosophical, that used to be a problem. Now it's not. That's the issue.
Yeah,
And that's why we're
exactly. Now
we're
it's-
fat as fuck.
Now it's a massive issue. Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying, like, you are right. That's exactly what happened with humans for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But now it's the opposite.
Yep, there's too much food for the developers.
Where's the wrath of core? Sorry.
I mean, it is what it is. It just
It's just sad that we can't spread out this food to starving nations.
Yeah,
Well-
what if we did that instead of throwing it away into the back of a dumpster
Just
behind
taste
Walmart?
Oh, but that's theft.
6 billion would fucking fix World
Yeah.
War
It's
II?
like, dude, I want to give it to
Hey,
people
shit.
who seem like
it'd
they
be, more,
need
it'd
it.
be more than a
It's
billion, but
nothing.
it'd probably be like, I'm
It
gonna
is
guess like
being
10
resolved,
billion.
It's just taking a while.
Yeah, somewhere
It's not
around
even
there.
that much. What are these fucking idiots doing?
Well, if you listen to the Republican people, they hate all that shit. So
Exactly.
they're all
It's
anti
fucking
everything. It's just like crazy.
They don't because they don't even show the real numbers.
Well, unless there's a market behind it. So I did work for a company called Seasonal Roots, and we would take it would be food that was still good that just looked really weird,
Yeah,
and
it's like
we
Mike,
would resell that.
we have that
to a
here. It's called
factory.
Mike Discounts.
Oh,
That's what Mike Discounts.
Yeah, so there's
does.
a market to be made there.
Yeah, I think I said they buy like shitty food or whatever that's about to go bad, but then they fucking sell it to you like you gotta eat it today. Yeah, you gotta eat it today.
Yeah, dude, 6 billion ain't shit. So I don't know what the fuck the problem is. Like,
it's hoarding.
Yeah,
really 1/300.
It's fucking pathetic. It's we have these issues because these idiots can't fucking give up $6 billion fucking dollars collectively. You fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Shit, you not.
A year or whatever. Like, get the fuck out of here. What a fucking joke. They're fucking actual jokes of human beings, dude. They're fucking leeches on this fucking planet, and nobody fucking sees it. Pisses me the fuck off.
Now you understand why I say what I say sometimes.
I know, like, but 6 billion? Are you fucking kidding me? It's like, if I had 6 billion a year to spare, dude, like, I would. Like, how could you not even like? It's like they're. Like, that's such a failure of empathy. Like,
it changes, yeah, and I think that's where money changes people. Money and power, it just changes your personality every time. It's very, very rare that you get somebody. Okay, so there are billionaires who say, "Hey, we want you to raise our taxes, and we want people to be forcing billionaires enforce laws that require people
to fight
to."
the fucking bullet already. Somebody, fuck.
There are billionaires that are doing that right now, but it's few and far between. There's this power complex that happens that's deep set into our genetics. And it's very unfortunate, it seems.
Mm-hmm. It's like fucking the Ring of Sauron, dude.
Basically.
Yep.
Whatever. The One Ring.
That may be what he was going for, too. J.R.R. Tolkien was very political as well, and he wrote it into his fantasy.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what... So, yeah, y'all should definitely watch Nate Higgins. He also uses quotes from J.R.R. Tolkien and the model of Sauron, or the Eye of Sauron,
as an
analogy. And some of his models. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, let me see if I can get this quote right. There's a quote in Lord of the Rings from Treebeard. Y'all remember the Ent Treebeard?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So Treebeard is talking about Sauron, and he says, I know what he is up to. He has a mind of metal and machines. He wants to turn the world into machines or something. Man, I forget.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful quote, though. It's basically him commenting on capitalism and industrialism.
Yeah.
It's an exact.
He was a very, very intelligent man. I think a lot of these authors, like just big fucking, famous authors like him, that just have left like such a legacy. I think they were just like so much more just in touch and like had a bigger like a wider like bird's eye view than they like let on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You think about like Homer too. Like that. Like he was sort of like,
boom.
Ooh.
Like the
I fucking missed.
Tolkien of his time in a sense.
Yeah. Homer was a G.
Gucci man.
I guess.
Itch.
Yeah, he was pre-Socratic, right? He was.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Oh fuck. I thought I can get around it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was really funny.
I'd like to learn more about like Chinese development too, and just all these other cultures, because we do have such like a Western bias, like in our like education and everything, dude. Like,
dude, read The Weirdest People in the World. That's a great exposition on Eastern versus Western studies and how the history of the West developed and all. And it's by Joseph Henrich, and he says that. So the weirdest, it's an acronym. Weird is Western educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic nations. And his commentary on democracy is very interesting. I'm not sure how to think about that myself, but the way that he describes this though is about 12% of the world is weird like this. He's saying that there's nothing wrong with it on the surface to be weird, Western educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic. It's just a new thing. It's very novel, and we don't know how to handle it yet. And so 88% of the world, the rest of the world, is in what he calls relation-regulated communities. These are communities that have a real culture, like Japan, East China, and Korea, and India as well to some extent. And they have a more deep set culture. They have a sense of connection at the foundation.
Well,
They don't conform to being ignorant of context. A lot of Westerners are. We talked about this to some extent. Westerners are ignorant of context. And yeah, the book's like 500 pages, but it's a very good read.
I feel like ignorant of context is almost another way of saying stupid. You know, like.
Yep.
No.
Like it's like having plausible deniability for being stupid in a sense. Like, huh? What you talking about with your fancy
book learns
signs and your figures?
Yeah, what do you mean everything's connected? Oh my god, what the fuck was that? Why didn't I recover? Okay. Yeah, it's very strange.
You're just trying to get my money, aren't you? You just want more taxes.
Yep, always.
Oh my god.
You guys are all committing suicide. I love it.
Oh, really? Both have to be Loki? Oh, one of y'all was random.
I am always random.
That's just how the cookie crumbles.
Woo! Pop the sherry.
Oh, did you, huh? I will Loki choke you out.
You're a Loki choke you out.
I will Loki. I will
Loki
Loki choke you out.
Little Loki chokey.
Yeah, there's a Star Wars song.
The greatest one.
Obi-Wan coming your way, bitch.
I'm taking all y'all out.
We want that ass.
We want that ass.
Oh, he's celibate. All the Jedi are celibate.
They are. That's not true though. You got Anakin, dog.
For Anakin, and that's where he fucked up. That's how he became Darth Vader. He should have stuck to that celibacy.
in the non-Disney canon, Luke fucks people too. Don't worry. He changes the rules.
Wait, what? Well, that's not canon.
No, it's not because Disney ruined it. But before it was.
God, can I have a fucking great race without fucking wings?
I saw a meme the other day, like Anakin, what are you doing? We have force healing, like the
because of Disney
high ground thing.
Like,
I don't know if that's
because of Disney because they added healing and it's like, oh, wouldn't that have been convenient?
Oh, did they? Oh, I guess they did, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what everyone's talking shit about.
No, that's canon. That was in freaking SNES, and when you play the SNES game,
not like Star Wars, like
Oh, there's that SNES game, dude. I haven't even fucking played that SNES game.
Every video game, every video game, there's fucking force heal.
I need to play more Star Wars games, dude.
They're fucking dope.
That's true. Yeah, all the games are freaking awesome,
dude. You want to play? We can start playing goddamn Knights of the Old Republic online MMO.
Oh, is it still going? I never got to play it before.
Gross! I will never touch that game. You literally have to pay to access your bank.
Oh my god! I can't remember. Is that what it is now? Your bank?
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. Just like these grand races are.
That'll be 5 cents.
Oh fuck!
That was crazy.
I seen you from across the room.
Freaking saw that shit. Because I saw context. I was zooming out to watch the whole game playing for a moment there.
God damn.
Gotta lock in.
No.
Lock it in. No.
Boom. Double hit.
Fucking ass right now. Huh? The boomerang just went around you.
Come on.
Boom, bitch. No.
You son of a bitch.
Get him, follow up.
Boom, bitch. Get out the way.
Superior combatant.
I got murder y'all this round. Damn.
I freaking killed myself in the first.
You did too. I watched it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I didn't.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna eat a little bit.
All right, we'll give you a
Beef
break.
stew. Beef stew.
Well, log yourself
yeah,
out. I'm not doing it.
out.
I can do it, but I'm not gonna do
My knees. Why are my knees hurting, boys?
Well, what'd you do to your knees?
A stretch. Do your exercises.
I could
Blame yourself as much as possible.
I just remember this Louis C.K. bit where he's like, he goes to the doctor for his sore ankle or whatever. He's like, well, how many times I gotta stretch this? And the doctor was like, no, that's just something you do now. You know, like you're old now.
Every time.
God damn it. Every time.
The answer is every time from now on.
You stretches every day. That'll prevent you from getting fucked up fascia. So the fascia is these layers between your tissues and your muscles. And they can become tangled over time. It looks like a bunch of tangled pubes under a microscope.
Oh, nice.
It's exactly like a bunch of tangled pubes. So if you don't stretch, they will get more tangled up, and that'll lead to like sore joints and messed up muscles, and you'll become stiff. But if you stretch, it stretches out your fascia, and you stay limber over time, and you can retain your mobility as you age.
It's just tangled tubes all the way down.
And it takes like 5-10 minutes. I mean, you don't have to do that long. Just do your basic stretches in the morning and night as you meditate or whenever you set it into.
Oh yeah, I should do that. Like I should do
It's
all
so
that
it
more.
doesn't require anything. It doesn't hurt at all. It hurts
Yeah.
a little bit, but it's not like working out or exercising hurts. That's a different kind of hurt. That's like where you have to exhaust yourself, and doing stretches doesn't exhaust you at all.
I've been in the flow state, man.
Indeed.
Man. No, I definitely want to spend more time in the body, doing body things.
Do it. That's how you think better, because your mind and body work better together, and you'll start. It'll help you bridge between the abstract and the concrete, I believe, a lot more as well. That's why Verbeke is so good at that, because he does the freaking Tai Chi.
Ah, shit. He does the what? Sorry.
The Tai Chi
Many
Chuan.
blessings upon you, Saw.
Shit. Nice follow up.
I know, I got lucky. It's like, hopefully it goes up. Boof.
How about you?
I want to do Western Tai Chi, but it's like a giant sword.
Oh, fuck.
Oh
Has
yeah,
to be violent.
yeah. You can do the weighted sword exercises too, where you swing
Oh.
around a freaking broadsword, like a heavy ass broadsword.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, it's a cool form of Tai Chi, or it's not really Tai Chi. It's just
Fuck
like
yeah. Fusion.
dance form.
Bro.
Fusion.
Look better modern. You gotta read both. You gotta have your.
That's right. That's right.
Let's
That's,
try all
there's a-
tones.
So like flow arts help too. I think that helped me a lot as well. Learning how to do spin point. Damn it. How to spin poise, spin fire, juggling, doing contact stuff. So there's also a sword contact stuff. It's just a heavy ass sword with grip tape all over it, and you roll it all across your body without using your hands. It's really cool. The contact staff is badass.
But you want to duel with weapons?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
I don't want to duel without weapons. That's just a fight.
You want to duel without weapons?
Yeah. No, I said that's just a fight.
WWE style, dude. WWE. We gotta fucking.
Oh, that was sweet.
No, I fucking committed suicide.
Yay.
What would your finishing move be if you were a wrestler?
Commit suicide. Because I just did it.
Kamikaze.
Suplex.
Suplex?
Mine would be a duplex to double it up. Just kidding.
Duplex.
Ooh. I gotta look up a tutorial on how to use this weapon. Freaking the chakram.
Ooh, Val.
Dude,
I didn't know. I
sweet.
liked
Yeah,
this
Val's
bitch.
awesome. She's one of the OG characters.
Is she?
Yeah, Val's old school.
Remember that Jump King game? Did you guys ever see that?
The what
You
game?
was playing that? Huh?
The what game?
Jump King? Like,
No.
it's like a long, like, sort of platformer, like vertical, and you can, like, it's like really challenging.
Mm-mm.
I never played it, but you can fall all the way down to the bottom and shit if you fuck up.
Where the fuck are you going?
Everywhere.
No, this game is really neat because it records the players' ghosts, like where players go. So the map is just filled with NPCs of players' ghosts. And I was in a race, and one of the fucking NPCs on the race was going backwards. I'm like, huh, somebody was going backwards on this track.
Oh, fucking too predictable.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
We're in the Thunderdome now.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
Damn. If we had a little more person, I would say we should play Smite 2.
Oh, dude, that'd be fun.
Yeah, so we can do 5s because
Marvel Rivals, bro.
I can play that now.
Oh my god, I hate you guys. Every one of you.
Why?
Every one of you is. Hey,
No,
all you.
Dude, I'm. Thank God.
Oh my god. This stage is nuts.
That is great.
All right, now I gotta use Val.
Game.
Set.
I used to be really good with
Blouses.
Game blouses.
Well, that's
He's
They're
not
raping our
fucking
churches
Halloween.
and burning our women.
If you say so.
What other game?
I always have to ask who's they.
They.
As long as you keep it as they.
No, it's from.
It'll always
How
be
many of
they.
you guys played Valheim?
It's from Whitest Kids You Know.
How many of you guys played Valheim?
It's a
Not
great
really.
show.
It's not finished yet, but how many of you guys played Valheim?
Never.
Negative.
Not me.
I put 405 hours into it. It's really good.
Wow.
Oh, yeah? Was it worth it?
The time or the money? The time. Oh, the time. It was worth it actually. I barely ever put much time into a game. This game was like a spiritual experience for me, man.
Then it was worth it.
Dude, because it's like you're entering into a fucking realm, you know, like Valheim, you know, after death or whatever, and like Odin wants you to like go through a journey,
kill everybody.
you know.
Is it better than Thor Ragnarok?
I mean, it's like a survival game. You go in, and it's like a fresh world. You have to like fucking build and all that shit. Build your base, cook your fucking food, build your armor. You know, kill a bunch of shit, chop down trees.
Chop down your cherry tree.
Cherry tree.
I like to bust some cherries.
It's a good game. It's a good game. It's a good game.
Oh my god.
Suicide.
You should buy.
Game blouses.
Why don't you go purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka?
I will.
Have you ever said that to anybody?
Yeah, of course. As a
What?
Minnesotan, I suppose you have to. It's like by definition.
Yeah, exactly. The Gulf formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico.
Used to be. Used to be.
Yeah.
That's how we have to refer to it from now on. The Gulf, formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico.
Yep.
Like the rapper formerly known as whatever.
Ice Cube and DOC.
Man, yeah, your character's fast. Doing really well with her.
She's a bitch.
Think about how many
Oh.
like name changes we're gonna have in like 100 years. People are going to rename.
This is the end of this.
Everything.
They're renamed somewhere like
Really?
Bart.
They put like the Trump administration.
I mean,
The
take
Fart
note that no
Empire.
other president, like no other president, has ever cared about that at all. It's
Yeah.
seriously it's such an angsty teenager move.
It's like, I don't like that. Why do they have their name where our name could be?
Our name, God of America.
Why is it our? Why
Yeah,
is it their name and not our name?
Yeah,
Why
Jon
can't I
Stewart
just
on the
call
Daily Show, he said it's like a Wikipedia edit.
Dude,
Perfect.
is he still doing like once a week?
Dude,
episodes
Stewart's
or something?
killing it, man. I don't know if y'all watch the
Okay,
Daily Show.
I should
lately,
be
but
watching
he's-
it.
Yeah,
I need
he's
to
killing it.
rewatch that.
It's so
He's
funny.
good.
He's so good.
He's
dude.
definitely the top of the. He's the best of the best right now.
Yeah,
Has
he
been
is.
for freaking ever.
Yeah, ever since he started, even with his talk show.
Yep. It's easy to overlook him.
He's
for
very
him.
good. And the
I
staff
do think
is
he's really good. Yeah. I just haven't been tuned in.
I also, I mean, I don't watch those kind of shows a lot because they're biased, but the Daily Show they're way less biased than something like the Colbert Report. Colbert Report is just very liberal propaganda, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
His show, yeah, dude. Like I stopped watching Colbert because I thought the fucking everything about it was trash. I was like, dude, I'm not watching this fucking night show or whatever.
God.
He was so fucking funny for the report.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, his co-anchor, his co-reporter,
Um.
Jon Stewart's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he had the show too.
Yeah. And in the beginning, the fucking how truthiness became an actual word because of him. One of my old classmates, he like went on a fucking rant about that word, and he kept using that word. I forgot what the rant was about, but it was just funnier than fuck. He was angry, but laughing.
I wish he.
Misery
Yeah, I wish
loves
he was
company,
still
baby.
in that style. And he became, I don't know, accessible, mainstream. And it's like, okay, not even funny.
Damn, bro.
What? We
Like
just
you're trying to
kill
win
you.
or something.
Trying to. Not anymore.
Who do I? What else do I like? I don't know. I like a lot of things.
I
That's
like.
what I like to say.
I like cheesecake.
I like turtles.
I bet you do, you fatty.
Turtles are fucking
Dude, I love
awesome,
French silk
dude.
pie. I love stroganoff. I love Asian food.
I like elephants.
I love stroganoff too.
I do too.
I like stroking off.
Yeah, me too. Either way.
Yep.
Because of the S and it ends with
There's a
a off.
reality.
If it has an S and it starts, it ends with an off. I probably like it.
Yep.
Standoff.
Yep.
Yep. I like it.
I like it.
Right
That's
now.
what I'm saying.
I like that.
You can't corner the Dorner.
Oh.
Fucking dodge. Recover one.
You remember that shit?
Yeah.
I love this backdrop there. The fucking upside down buildings. Or
Doug,
whatever.
how often do you see that
Yeah.
both people took less or more damage than hitting? We both did.
Oh yeah, well, huh.
That's crazy.
Jump in yourself.
That makes sense.
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Brandon, you still eating?
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
eat away.
Brandon.
Eat away, my guy.
What other game can you go down a fucking snowboard slope with the fucking mountain bike?
Final Fantasy VII. No, I was kidding.
Mm-hmm. What game?
Riders Republic.
Riders on the stone. Boo, 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 boo.
Let's play StarCraft. Let's go, guys.
StarCraft?
I used to play Star Wars Galaxies.
I fucking love that one video of that one. The one kid that was playing StarCraft, and he misclicked once and rage quit. It's fucking funny. Just click. Player has left.
Dude, there's people that get like 200 APM, like actions per minute, fucking playing that shit.
It's like, bro.
Those guys are aliens. They're the guys that are control.
When the government talks about like
fucking,
video games, oh, I'm lagging.
You know,
I'm lagging like a bitch. However, when the government talks about like video games being bad, it's them people. They're like, oh my god, it's laggy as shit. Okay. Did you die or did I die? It showed us both dying.
You're distracted or something, so I killed myself too.
Oh no, I'm not distracted. I'm just laggiest bitch.
Oh yeah, I killed myself too. To be honest.
Oh,
I'm just swinging and pushing buttons. I don't know the fuck I'm doing. I go here and then I go there. I'm like, okay.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
You don't think. Use around you.
Last summer or whatever, I was getting those ultimate cookie blizzards from fucking Dairy Queen.
Okay, my internet works
now.
now. Oh no, I'm back to 1 star. Oh, I'm done.
Damn, you are lagging.
Yep, because I'm saying all of a sudden I go from like 2 stars to 1 star to this star. I'm like, oh no, what the fuck?
What happened?
I don't know. My internet all of a sudden just got bad.
Speed it.
I'm directly connected, so I don't know how my internet ever goes bad. I know that both my kids are on Wi-Fi, so I mean that's the only thing I think of. There's I wish it was school night, but it's whatever day tomorrow, President's Day.
That was it.
I mean, not like King
whatever day.
Well, they might change it to King Day in a minute. Give it time.
No, not my King Day. Oh shit, it's so cold. See if Menominee is holding a fucking protest.
I can't remember.
We could have good monarchs.
That would honestly be the best way, but this is too hard to do.
People are too dumb. We can't have like. There's no like. We don't have a strong stock. We need a strong stock. The right family. I don't know.
I don't
Stupid.
know.
It'll never happen. Will never ever happen. Not a direction we're gonna go.
Really?
But then again, we are in an like idiocracy like scenario. You know, like
I'm so laggy.
Fiction is becoming real life. I like to wonder about the far future. I feel like because I don't know if I'll like ever get to be there. You know,
you'll never be there because it's far future. It's by definition.
Right. So it's like,
but like what?
Let's get on the limb.
But why don't you try to worry about like the fucking the now, or not even necessarily now? Like how about like the next like 50 years? That's something you can control.
Yeah. Look the next 50 years. They don't give a fuck about me.
They might.
Oh my god, dude! I cannot see.
Ooh. Oh shit! I can recover.
I can't see you. Oh, you're off. Okay, yay. For some reason, I'm still back. I'm back down to 1 fucking bar.
I'd have to restart your computer or your internet.
Game. I was thinking about doing the next game. Cause like I can see where I'm going, just it's always fucking laggy shit. It's like, oh, I see it, but I.
Ah man, if only there was like a D&D that was like online to do, because like I think that'd be fun. Like if you had like,
DMT?
If only you had like a good creative party, probably. No, like D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons, kind of deal. I don't know if you guys have any interest in anything like that, but
yeah, that would be cool to do.
Yeah, see, I'm into it. But it's got to be like your own like creation, you know, like that's what I think. Except for like the first few times, you know, unless you like find, you know, I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass slightly, but
of course, stop talking about stuff in the.
I think every fucking like experience is augmentable. I feel like so.
Okay. Is it today?
No.
Is it going to be in the next like 30 years? Maybe.
Playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons?
No, augmenting it, whatever you're talking about.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Yoda. I was gonna say, into the future, you always look.
I got 4 guns. What are your 2 guns gonna do to match my 4
I don't know,
guns?
'cause I'm always leggy, so I never know what the fuck where I'm actually hitting. I just gotta. I get the leg where I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay, no.
Fucking me up too because I can't predict you now. But I
Probably
definitely
does,
have an
actually.
advantage. I thought I was consciously predicting you before. But
Oh fuck! I
am.
think I just died. Yep. Like I said, I'm like,
That's
wait, I
correct.
think I just ran off. Yep. Okay.
The background of this
All
map
right,
is
hold
cool
on,
too.
Log out and log in.
Yeah.
Fucking Brawlhalla. Just kidding.
Didn't you
There's a
fucking
virus.
Brawlhalla?
How do you fuck a Brawlhalla? Have you ever thought about it? Just kidding.
A whole brawl.
You remember
a whole,
you ever watch Black
all the
Mirror?
brawler?
No, but I've heard of it.
No.
It's a really good show. It's also very existential, so be careful when you watch it because there are definitely some futures that it portrays that can be very disturbing, but
That's all right.
very entertaining.
What's the number again? 75?
That's 75, 84, 63.
Gotcha.
75, 84, 63.
Oh, is it?
Brandon, are you joining?
Brandon, you playing?
Brandon,
Come
on down.
Come on
brawled
down to
out
the
right
Price is
now.
Right, Brandon. Brandon.
Brawled out, boys. A little bit.
Brandon. You're not brawled out. You just
So I'm saying we gotta find another game so we can oscillate.
Oscillating fan.
Okay. You're gonna have to convince me though. I don't play games.
It's money to.
I know.
It's fine. It's a MOBA, but it's actually a pretty decent one.
Teamwork, boys. Instead of
I'll get Smash Bros. I gotta figure out how to get the freaking get the ROM or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So I can get it on PC. Or I'll just get the new
yeah.
freaking
Switch.
the new Switch.
And buy the whatever it's called. Oh, yeah, because there's gonna be a new
I want to
game
get
for it.
Really? Is there gonna be a new Smash for it?
I would assume so, right? With the
be
new
free.
game, with the new console, they always have like new everything, right? They probably have a new Zelda, new Mario. You know, it's like it's Nintendo. That's what the fuck they do. They get a new system, they come out, and everything they're like new.
Yeah.
Switch 2 release games.
Yeah,
so
I really
laggy.
like Mario Kart too. The Mario Kart 8 was fantastic.
Yep.
And I'd be down to play that. I love Mario Kart.
Mario Kart's fun. I got a Switch
fun.
Lite right here.
Nice.
Metroid Prime 4.
Metro.
Oh
God.
snap! Really? I'd play that shit too.
Dude.
That's a single player, but yeah, that seems like a lot of fun.
Did you say you beat Metroid Prime 1?
I beat the 2 games for the GameCube.
Yeah, the
I
2.
didn't play
Yeah.
the original.
I think Bill recently played Metroid Prime 1. Yeah, I would like to. Fuck.
Oh,
Metroid Prime.
I bet he would like to fuck.
Who wouldn't?
Wouldn't we all?
Some more than others, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't judge.
I don't give a fuck. Do what you gotta do.
Oh,
As long as everyone consents, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Pokemon Legends BA, I don't know. shit
Even if
about
it's
that.
not consensual consent.
Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, some like farming-ish game, but it's like a anime spellcaster farming or whatever. I don't know.
I'd have to
That's what
re-download.
they do
Fuck,
these
they
days.
play a lot of cool games. I'd probably have to re-download the Xbox thing, right? I don't know how many of these games are free.
Well, they have Master Chief Collection maybe coming to. Oh, Mario Kart 9.
Oh man,
Dude, it's so weird how games like last forever, like as
concepts,
like
or
a
whatever.
big thing to announce. No Man's Sky,
Fucking
like
stupid.
okay, No Man's Sky is on.
Like I said, I keep lagging.
It's like 10 years
I'm
old.
gonna be done playing for now. 'cause
I
it's
actually
my
just
leg.
bought it.
The leg's
that's
killing
cool.
me.
I gotta make dinner and go to bed early, anyways. That's okay.
Stupid leg.
Let me think.
Are you on
Actually, I
Steam?
might play against it.
Brandon. Is that what you're looking at?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes. So, well, I was googling, but Smite 2 is on Steam for free. I don't know if you guys want to have like another game in the mix or not. I don't care. I must say not to play this.
Wally's lagging, but I'll play you, Brandon.
Oh.
I can only play a couple more rounds.
Yeah, I've been lagging like a bitch. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I don't want to start redo all my computer shit.
Maybe the servers are being stupid.
Maybe.
I'm pretty good on my end, but you're lagging on Discord too, it sounds like. So it might be your computer or your internet or something.
Yeah, like I said, it showed my internet in the red, so.
Where's your router at? Is it upstairs?
No, all my shit's downstairs, right where my shit is. I'm direct connected.
I think if your router's upstairs, your fucking connection will be better because it like.
And make sure that there's no like metal or glass around it.
I think you get better signal when you're below it.
I don't know.
They're saying the new Mario Kart might
it goes
come
to
out.
like the phone jacks from back in the day, you know.
Mario Kart is what? Oh, do you have Ethernet? Is that what you're using?
Yeah.
Ethernet
connection.
I think he doesn't need to worry about the Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah, I'm not worried about. Like I said, I'm just assuming because all my kids and shit are online and whatever, that maybe they're all siphoning off it.
Quit downloading your shit.
Kids and their pornos and their dozens of pornos.
My one kid probably definitely he's 13. He's prime age.
You're like, I'm not even thinking about that.
I don't even give. I don't think about it, but then if I do, it's whatever it is, what it is.
Right, exactly.
It's not like we did it.
I know, so I'm saying like, okay.
They have a much easier time to access it at their age.
That is a big difference.
Oh, that is so true.
Objectifying women. It's like a straight shot to women's objectification.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
It's a straight shot to desensitizing yourself and thinking about women as meat, and very much over-sexualizing the female form like we've never seen before. Somebody put it like we now have access to the most gorgeous woman that no king has ever seen before, swallowing and eating and making grunts or warnings, but they've been repurposed and exapted for the purpose of speech. And because of that, we've gotten into a lot of trouble. Because of that, we've started a lot of big problems. And we've also resulted in civilization and cooperation over long distances, where we can speak and complexify our world in ways that other animals really don't seem to be able to. Perhaps dolphins can as well, but dolphins don't have the opposable thumb. And that, too, has been exapted, and in a way that natural selection perhaps did not originally select for. Perhaps the prefrontal cortex being enlarged in combination with the opposable thumbs gave us this advantage where we can hold tools and start manipulating our environment and building houses and shelters and more complex weapons.
A creative scheme. If nature does it, like, that gets kind of weird. Purpose and has been found, or like an affordance has been like wandered into, you know.
Yeah.
So you retain what is retained from before. So you talk about the tongue and the eating part. Like, how does that fucking play into speech?
If we didn't have it, we wouldn't speak.
Oh, so you're saying like, so
we didn't have that in combination with...
Oh, so you're saying it's like a pivot or something, and like...
Yeah, it's a repurposing is the term that Rebecca uses.
Repurposing? Okay, yeah, but I see it as...
When you think of it, yeah.
Like a recursive scaffolding or something, I don't know.
When you think of it as a repurposing, that insinuates that it's not an actually naturally selected property, that it's something that... So there's this term called the freaking, oh man.
It's look at like a triangle.
Oh, I can't remember.
Like a middle point. It keeps moving, or I don't know.
Spandrel. It's like a spandrel. So the way to think about spandrels is your chin. And it's a little different because we don't use the chin. That's not exactly an accepted property. But...
Yeah, actually, I just read too that our molars are starting to disappear because of our diets. We don't really need molars anymore. And like, Oh, that's interesting. Since we're not really gatherers and eating like raw meat anymore, like tearing shit.
Right. So we're always changing our environment, and we're also being changed. Like we're actually changing our biology.
It's because we're not like eating stone fruits and nuts on a daily basis anymore, like we used to. That's why the gallbladder is kind of useless now. You know,
the appendix. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So this happens reverse too. There are properties that we once had that we're now losing as we change our environment via the agricultural revolution, and the environment is changing us and we're changing it. And then you have spandrels, which is the chin, which we don't know. We still think of that as a mystery as to why we have an extended chin as opposed to chimps and other primates. And so this is you can remember the spandrel by the original etymology of it. So the spandrel is it's the little curly things at the top of a column, or like the Roman cathedrals, where you see the columns and then they connect to the ceiling, and we would decorate those with lots of curly designs, and we would also draw on them. Or they would have like spirals and curls on them, but we didn't do that for any purpose. And yet they still, originally the rounded edges serve for the purpose of adding some kind of structure, we think. But then we started designing on those, and so those designs were also called spandrels.
There's a study, there was a study in Russia, there's a documentary about this, on some fucking foxes that they were selecting based on like friendliness, you know, as a trait. And as they continued to breed these friendly foxes, they would like sort of have like you know, traits like curly tails and like longer ears and like all these other things, you know, that just seemed to like, you know, it's like a phenotypal consequence of, you know, diversification in an interior manner, you know what I mean? Like just like a shadow or something. I don't know how you would even call it, you know, just like traits that tend to follow.
It's reverse breeding. I don't know if anybody uses that term, but it sounds like that to me. This is how you see the Shiba Inu has those little dots on its eyebrows, where it exemplifies the sweet little puppy dog face, the innocent face that dogs make. So there are muscles. This is crazy. There are special muscles between the eyebrows of a dog that wolves don't have, because that allows them to do the upturned eyebrows that make that cute little puppy dog face.
Yeah.
And so they evolved that to manipulate us, as opposed to we training them, they're training us. And my dog has that too. She has those, and she has little cute dots on the sides of her mouth that seem to exemplify a smile, or enhance her smile, and that's just amazing.
Dude, yeah, the eyebrow thing is such a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to be afraid of the concept of exaptation. For a long time, I didn't want to consider it as real, because I also didn't consider emergence as real. Like, what does it mean for something to emerge if nature is just doing what it does, as it unwillingly and unagently just creates?
Paradigm shift, right?
Thanks to I've had lots of paradigm shifts over the last few years, and this is another one.
Wouldn't emergence be a paradigm shift? Essentially, when we really break it down.
Yeah, I mean, I questioned it because you got to ask, what are you emerging from? And when we talk about something being an epiphenomenon or epigenetic, what does that mean? You know, what is the protein expression of a gene, like the gene's protein expressions? We're saying that that's an emergent property of our genetics, but we don't exactly know how to define that
as the emergent thing. It's like a shared.
Yeah, like what is that? Well, that's also, if you look at it through
to all of us, essentially. It's like a.
I mean, if it's determined.
What?
If it's
no
all
one's here.
Sorry,
dogs are being stupid.
If it's all
I mean, I guess like I was a hardcore determinist for a while, and that's where that came from. I think is that if everything's determined and it's all causal effect, cause and effect, and this thing affecting that thing, leading to another thing, then you can say everything is emergent. Every little occurrence from everything could possibly be an emergent property
there's
of
like uniqueness, but there's also, you know, like there's a structural undercurrent, right?
Yeah, yeah. I realize that it's too general.
And ask Ed about that.
Yeah, generalist.
Yeah, we gotta have, you know, I guess
before dark,
as members of a community, we have to have some sort of individuality that, you know, is like the first, like the brush that we use, the color that we use in that realm, you know, in a sense, as opposed without, you know, being a thing in the universe or whatever. I don't know.
Yep.
Have an merged frame with the universe.
Yeah, we gotta have definite. It's as if determinism just doesn't allow for definitive layers of things to be distinguished. It
People
doesn't allow for
language. People gotta get out of language. People gotta get out of the language.
We gotta go with grunts and clicks again.
We gotta go back to the grunts and clicks.
Language. But, well, you know, it's like in consciousness. Everybody fucking.
Well, that's what art is,
like,
man. That's what art and music does.
You don't see
it speaks to your emotions.
The structure that is shared between, you know, communicators. There's an intrinsic structure, kind of. For the same
yeah, I mean that's what art does.
Oh,
the artist is able to communicate deep concepts without any words. They use visual portrayal.
That's true.
Same with music and same with prose and like there's different ways to use language that it's intentionally less specific, that allows you to be more interpretive with what the poet is trying to portray. I'm writing a song about acceptation right now where I'm trying to do that, and it's a different form of writing than what I'm used to, but it's very different, very tricky.
Oh, dude, did you ever get into death at all? Fucking Chuck Schuldiner?
I'm so about death, man.
Okay,
what?
good.
No, what are you talking about? The band Death?
Yeah.
They're not really. Isn't that like black metal or like old school black metal?
No, well, no, it's death metal. But his like
Oh yeah, sorry, that is literally death.
The beats, I think you would like a lot of it, and like he plays in like odd time signatures and shit.
Maybe I should listen some more. I like Meshuggah. I've always liked them.
Meshuggah's awesome. They're really technical.
Yeah, they're probably my favorite metal band. I've been for years. And Born of Osiris.
Mm-hmm. Born of Osiris.
I'm an old head.
And they also evolve too.
Delightful.
Like every album's different.
Yeah. Yeah, I like their older stuff more, but some of their newer stuff is pretty good. Very inventive. There's another band that's like Meshuggah too. I like Igor and a lot of the experimental, heavy IDM style technical like digital drums with the effects and mixing that with technical guitars.
Fucking like Tomb Mold and Blood Incantation are going like a weird like 70s progressive.
70s progressive.
Death metal sound.
Fucking hipsters.
Brandon, I think I showed you Igor. Yeah.
I think so. Maybe.
The dudes with the accordion.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
The opera singer, yeah, super talented opera singer. Yeah, very powerful, evocative.
Yeah, dude, I love when people fucking use so many instruments.
Like
creative.
Like Talk has the fucking black metal banjo.
Oh yeah. Take or whatever.
Yeah.
That was Taka.
The black metal banjo that caught me off guard so hard. I just started busting out laughing.
There's what's his name from Kentucky or whatever. Panopticon. He's been doing his shit for a while, and he's like, well, he lives in Minnesota now, but he does like the whole Americana folk thing mixed with like black metal. And I guess do they call black gaze? Is he black gaze? I don't even know. Post black metal? I don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
Post black metal. Gross. Post anything sucks.
This is crazy. Yeah, Take song Mirror
Yeah,
Oh, it's a banjo cover of their song. Okay.
It's like halfway through it kicks in. It's funnier than hell.
Dude has 107 subscribers, but the video has 54,000 views. It's amazing.
I gotta find some more classical shit I like too, man. Dude, there's gotta be
I've
some
been into
stuff out
classical
there
and jazz more.
that exists that would just, I don't know, hit that button
like
for
jazz?
me. No, not really.
You gotta study music theory to appreciate jazz.
Yeah, I could see
There's
that.
a lot. It's a different level of appreciability. Similar to classic, but not as much. Classic is more. It's more broad spanning.
I don't like the sounds. You know what I'm saying? It's like not my aesthetic. Maybe that's me being too narrow-minded.
You
It's hard to
narrow-minded.
change your
You
preferences when it
Philistine.
comes to music.
Huh?
You Philistine.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to change.
At least you know what
preferences
it is.
with music.
It is because it's a personal relationship. I don't know, like, and everybody's relationship with music is different. I think, kind of, what they use it for.
Yeah, that classical though. Steve Jablonsky is really good. That's a more recent composer.
What they hear magic.
Uses electronics as well as the symphonics. And freaking Debussy, however you say his name. Antoine Dvorak. Antoine Dvorak's probably my favorite of all time. He's very epic. He writes a lot of huge epic pieces with 50 to 100 piece orchestras.
Damn.
Sick.
It's very cool. And of course Bach and Beethoven. Bach is his own vibe.
Yep.
He would be very technical too. He'd write songs where he would invert the musical score halfway through the song. He would flip it around and mirror it and invert it, and it still worked.
Damn.
It was incredibly prolific, incredibly talented for his age. For his time.
What kind of things are those? We're not talking like fugues, are we? Or is it, what is it?
Yeah, some of his fugues were like that. And I forget the definition of a fugue, but you can look that up too. There's some YouTube videos where they describe how he thought that out and how he mapped it out. Even his insignia, Johann Sebastian Bach, his insignia that he would sign his scores with is also mirrored. If you study.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Dude, he's just that dude was a genius, basically. Fucking next level.
Yeah.
Just like nothing
The
came
monogram.
before him. Just he was just like the first.
Have y'all ever read Gödel Escher Bach, The Eternal Golden Braid?
No, I heard of that though. I heard of it.
You know what I'm talking about? I have the book. It's quite good. It's so cool. Douglas Hofstadter, it's definitely his magnum opus. He draws parallels between MC Escher, the artist, where he has all those infinities and the images of animals changing into other animals and the spaces in between them always being filled up by something that's morphing into another animal, or the infinite stairs illusions and all that stuff. He draws parallels with that between Johann Sebastian Bach's writing style and Gödel's incompleteness theorem in mathematics. Dude, it's just
okay.
It's so
certain,
cool.
Like pattern that
yeah, he shows how there's relations between each of their ways of portraying the world.
I feel like I'm starting to hack into that, but don't fucking quote me on that.
Read it, man. You should read the book. It's got a ton of cool images too. You can really see it's full of really cool images where it helps you understand it.
Like your cognitive lasso has to like wrap around in a sense. You know what I mean? Like that's the only fucking description I have is like I don't know.
Lasso.
Yeah.
The lasso of interpretability is multidimensional and always fractaling, but fractaling back into itself. That's crazy. I bet there's parallels to be made there with the Mandelbrot Mandelbrot set and various sets in fractal engineering.
I have Mandelbrot set open right here. What is this?
Maybe watch a YouTube video
this
on
is
it.
basically what I would think. Yeah. And then another set gets made, or another cluster gets made, doesn't it? After that,
It's an equation that continues to multiply in a certain way, and you can tweak the equation and get different visual results.
This is basically what I see in my head when I think about moving through cognitive regions. Essentially.
Nice. Yeah, I recommend everybody do this, but yeah, definitely look up some videos on Gödel Escher Bach. If you don't want to read the book, it's like 400 pages or so, but definitely worth it.
Fucking Mandelbrot set.
But understanding the beauty of the Mandelbrot set is also very cool, because that parallels to nature. Some of the fractal equations are based on the golden ratio, like the what is it? There's a type of broccoli that's based on this, and so many of the cacti and succulents are working with this, and trees too.
This looks so like computational too, like. Yeah.
Here, we got some in the freaking chat from earlier. Yeah, from last time we were talking like 4 in the morning or whatever. There's the trilateral symmetry organisms.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Dude, like just think about that, like 3-way information flows with one connection point, right? That has to have some sort of like circular control,
some branching effect
node to it, right? Like that the intersection point has to be like coordinated. It's not just 3 different networks not coordinating. There has to be a thing in there.
It's trilateral symmetry, bilateral. We're bilaterally symmetrical, but also we're not, like we were talking about before. We have 1 heart and 2 nostrils and 2 eyes and 2 ears, 2 hands and 2 feet. And our skeletal system is bilaterally symmetrical. But we have 1 appendix and 1 liver on the left side of our bodies, and the heart is on the left side of the body. But all that can be reversed. There's a genetic condition that literally reverses the position of all of your organs. It's just crazy.
I've heard of that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, holy shit. So there's some kind of genetic standpoint, or not standpoint, but some kind of foundation for
I think
genetics.
Catherine O'Hara has from Home Alone, the mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think she has it.
That's wild, dude.
It's not deadly. It's just really weird.
Oh, it's just a complete opposite arrangement.
I know.
Very strange. Yeah, I'd pull up images of this, but y'all have probably seen them. Well, maybe I will.
Dude, I'm just like staring at this like zooming in picture of this.
Yeah, it's really trippy. You ever take acid and watch Mandelbrot fractal sets? That's
No.
a lot of my friends used to do. Oh man, yeah, we used to just get fucking trippy and watch stupid music videos with Mandelbrot sets. When I was like 18.
So you can see it so many ways too, like different like black bodies in a sense, like moving.
Well, so that equation that's infinite and always expanding by that equation and by those, I guess, digital representations of that equation. But when it comes to nature, it's like nature latches onto that as an affordance, and that's how you get the spiral symmetry that you see in the succulents and cactus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And with trees, there's different fractals, the trees, and the branching effects of that. That's a different kind of fractal.
Yeah.
But here, I'll show you what I mean. My cool nature stuff photos folder, I think. My nature, amazing nature stuff. No, it's not. But here's a cool dragon.
Totally
This is literally
the opposite of nature.
yeah, wow, this is a little lizard that has freaking wings. Looks like a dragon.
Nice. So call him wizard. Winged lizard. It's a wizard.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my studies.
I've got a meltdown to deal with here. Not me. So be right back.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, this is a type of broccoli. Don't have a meltdown, bro.
Yeah, that's a trippy design that the cells decided to take.
Yeah, they're relying on the underlying structure that
to get water
that
to
ontological, it's the ontological affordance that allows for that kind of thing to develop, that allows for organisms to work on that as a structure, as a scaffolding for nature to work upon. Freaking beautiful. That other one's a succulent that's based exactly on that, or one of the kinds of fractals. That's not the Mandelbrot set, but it's one of those equations that can be put into mathematical production.
So love fractals because it's never ending, basically a never ending edge, and they developed it like back like in the 1970s. It was impossible to make them without the computer.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you can keep that going with a computer because there's no reason for it to stop. But in nature, it has these boundaries where, okay, this is the time for the cells to stop growing.
Yeah, there's only so much room.
Well, it's not so much room. It's like there's the boundaries of the environment and the boundaries of what the cell morphology can expand into to take the most advantage of that environment, while also not stretching its own resources too thin. And somehow there's no real genetic programming for that. This is something that Michael Levin is looking into. Also highly recommend y'all looking into him. It's just incredible new breakthrough biology that's going on and kind of mad scientist work going on there too. They found out that essentially cells don't need, it's not all genetics, it's electrochemistry and also some kind of cellular automata, cellular autonomy, where the cells work together as a group agent to know when to stop growing. This is how your fingers don't just stop growing into an incredible new joint, or you don't grow like 5 jointed fingers, or your cells in your finger know to stop growing and stop regrowing when you get an injury.
Yeah.
The same thing. So with salamanders, they'll lose a limb, and then somehow the cells know how to regrow that limb back to the exact position, but no further and no less. We don't understand how that works. It's not, the genes aren't programmed for that. It's some kind of combination of electricity and this cellular automata. So they draw parallels to starling flight. I just saw a flock of starlings today I went to the store. It was beautiful.
What packs an infinity into one fucking region in nature?
What do you mean?
Finite region. So like, I don't know.
Look, see, this is another example. This is what Michael Levin's doing in his lab. So that's a tadpole, and that the arrow is pointing to an eye that they directed to grow in a different area of the tadpole's body, and it's completely functional. This is crazy. So that's not in the genes to do that, but they altered the chemical gradients there. They altered the electrical gradients, the electrical and chemical gradients too, I guess. But there's something that's called the electric face, where the arrangement of the organs of the face are decided before the genes take over after the tadpole is born, and they call that the electric face, and it's based on electrical gradients that are passing around the body, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dubai is making this, and it's syncing. Just like pulling images from my. You seen this shit? So check this out. So this stupid fucking island. Well, I don't know if you're.
Oh yeah, the poultry island.
I know, but they have like a whole empty desert, and they're just like, no, we're gonna go out in the sea. We don't like the desert.
Okay, there's another one where they're replicating the whole globe.
And they're just sinking.
It's sinking, and so it's hilarious that they didn't plan it out right, and they just have a shit ton of money to throw at like reforming. It's kind of like pre-terraforming, like we're terraforming the Earth in this way. But the funny thing is, the way that they do waste management is to have their shit. They have shit trucks.
Yeah,
they literally transport it out. It's not a sewage system. They just have a shit sucker truck come along and then take it out of there. And of course, that's getting fucked up too because the islands are sinking.
Trucks.
So they're just sinking in their own shit. And this island is just sinking in shit. It's so fucking like it's just poetic justice. It's so beautiful.
It's like, how about you put that money into your instead of like doing these stupid ass projects that are just gonna inevitably fail.
Stupid.
Fucking hate Dubai with a passion.
And it's all like this is just a little island system of the world's wealthiest people, and it's sinking away.
Yeah, and like nobody moved in or bought anything there too. It was a huge ass flop.
Yeah. What's that?
That?
Yeah. Oh, whatever. All right. Well, I could talk shit about that for a long time. I gotta go make some dinner and go to bed, though.
All right, brother. Eat good, sleep good.
Peace. Will do. You'll have a good rest of your night. Peace.
You too. Woohoo! I'm done with bikes.
Experience unbeatable appliance savings at Warner.
I think I'll have me one of them. I don't know.
Experience unbeatable appliance savings at Warner Stellian.
Uranus over the years.
It's Uranus.
As seen from 4 missions across the solar system. That has been on a lot of missions there. Uranus does look pretty cool. I saw something about like a diamond storm. There are diamond storms that happen there, maybe.
Where? At Uranus?
Uranus? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking probably diamond mine that shit. Oh, dude, think about like, I don't know.
About what?
Like money, just like money as a thing. Like, think about those fucking booths where they would have contestants like try to catch money, like as fast as possible. Like just that whole phenomenon. Like, Jesus Christ. They primed kids. Just think about it. Like when we were growing up to like want money. Like, oh, money's the ultimate good thing. The ultimate good thing.
Mm-hmm. It really was. We were always taught money, cash rule the world, bitch. So did Biggie.
Cash rule everything around me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Conservative wing of the door.
Bitch, what you doing?
Reading.
Making a lot of noise.
Me?
Dog.
Oh, how?
Bella. She is fucking extra floofy.
So Federalists became Republicans and Republicans became Democrats now. Okay, that's what I needed to learn. Yes. Got the timeline down. That's what I was reading for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because there was Federalists and Anti-Federalists, and then the Federalists basically stopped after the War of 1812. So I've been trying to read to see, like, where did these people go after the party dissolved? They're called, there's like, they call them Jeffersonian Republican, Democratic Republicans. Those are like the modern conservative party. And then there's the other side, which are big government people.
Okay, yeah.
And just, yeah, because I always say, people keep saying all this shit was whatever, always small government shit, but it's never been small government. It's always been about big government, or at least a blend.
Only about stuff that
affects
them. Dude, it's so dumb because there's just so much like, oh, well, you can't tax. If you tax us anymore, it's gonna make me poorer. I'm already so poor because of the government, you know.
Yeah, they blame the government, yeah, for everything.
Yep.
I know. I was telling dude earlier about something like that, like so with education, like, you don't think that we should have like every state should have a standardized like curriculum or something? You know, like, even, you know, it's funny because even right now that's not even true. Every state can do their own curriculum overall. They just have to pass certain tests for like the end of the year shit.
I think it's basically a child abuse for us to not like make sure they're not like learning the right shit on a national level. Like oh, you're stuck in Alabama. All right, well, too bad, you're a retard.
Too bad you're a retard.
A lot of times, but I mean, again, they probably deserve better teachers and shit too, right? Or, you know, like, they should have a better education there.
Yeah. I
mean, generally, even if there's mostly stupid, probably because of parents and how their upbringing is, but like the public schools should try to do their best to fucking help them, I assume.
Yeah, we gotta do way better. It's a mess. I don't know. I feel like the whole thing, it's all a like, it's like mental health and like self-learning, and dude, it's trying to fucking mold a human being, right, dude? It's so hard. Like, there's so many factors.
King, what do you think you're doing? Get off my nuts. Can lay there. Just stop.
What?
Oh, my cat. Or the cat, one of them.
Yeah. Not the black one that I hung out with.
Oh, yeah, the black one. She's on my nuts right now.
Oh, yeah.
Tink. Asshole. Let's lay down.
Yeah. Save the children.
Save the children.
How many votes did he get? Okay, we're kind of lucky. Trump probably will never be able to actually end the Department of Education, actually, because he'll need 60 votes, and right now the Republicans have 53, so they'd have to have 7 Dems switch sides.
Yeah, you know, I don't like learning either. You know, fuck that.
Well, I'm just saying it's nice. Again, this is where checks and balances are cool. Like we needed 60. You need 60% of the vote or 60 votes. They don't have enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll probably never actually happen. He's gonna fucking fuck with the system for like a half a year.
Has to be fucking reworked. That's the whole thing. That's I don't know. If the department isn't good at maintaining or creating, well, I don't know. See, here's the whole thing. They're controlling the narrative in a sense.
Of course.
By calling its legitimacy into question to begin with, you know.
Well, no, because to them they think it's wasted money. That's all. That's their whole idea. It's wasted money. It doesn't give you a better education, even though it does.
They don't even have a plan. That's the whole thing. We need
they always want to send it back to states, but no. The thing is, they want to send it back to states, but it's already at the state level. Like really, it's already there for like your K through 12 shit. Like I said, the Department of Education mostly deals with Pell Grants and shit for college kids. So mainly does like I think it was like 65% of the money goes to college. Like I said, either for schooling, for testing, and doing like science projects or whatever, or for giving kids money to go to school.
Dude,
your loans and shit.
You got problems on all fronts, man. Because cost of education is super high. Cost of drugs is super high.
Yep.
The cost of military equipment super high. It's just everywhere.
Yep.
Just enemies on all fronts.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we gotta stop like only going after the little things. Because that's what it seems like. Is this? All right, okay, we're gonna funnel everybody into this thing so we don't lose the money train. We go into this. We go into this. Retracting with this. Yes. We made it through.
I made it through. I don't know. Like I said, honestly, it's so huge now, the government and shit like that. Like, I don't know how you can stop it. I don't think you ever can stop it at this point. Like,
get control of the.
Like I said, and honestly, the government's supposed to it's supposed to be the handrails on unchecked, whatever. Greed, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Are we in a stage where we just don't have much control? Like, just don't have any control? Is it a runaway machine?
The government?
Is it off the rails? Yeah. We'll just, like,
no, because the government's equipped with people, so you still need a fuck ton of people to do shit, whatever you want to call it. But
yeah,
that's why I tell people, like, when you say these things are nefarious in general, it's like, man, you know how many people work for these industries? Like, you're calling them all pieces of shit, right? Kinda.
Dude, who's the real pieces of shit in the world?
All of us to an extent, but yeah.
Yes.
Slows.
War of Warships.
Ships.
War of World Ships.
I'm just looking at all the games. World of Tank. Oh, we can play Risk. I fucking love. I'm downloading this. I don't give a fuck. I love Risk.
OG ass Risk.
Yeah, it's called whatever. It's Global Domination. I fucking love Risk.
Fun.
I used to play this on my phone. Same game.
Nice.
Global Domination.
I don't know. You don't like Risk, or do you like Risk, or did you?
I did. Yeah.
It's a fun game.
I never really played it.
It's just fucking. Well, it's rolling dice, so there's some luck factor, but it's some skill with It's just military shit.
Oh, dude, they got fucking little counties and shit. Damn.
What was that?
I'll play the fuck out of this.
Which game?
Little, Risk Global Domination.
There's one of
They
you
got
guys
like
that
little they got like little regions and shit, you know, to each country. You know, it's not just like, you know, the old school. It's like even more.
A different version of Risk, basically.
Oh, it just goes down to a smaller scale. Well, look, it looks like it might be variant too, like different levels of partitioning or whatever.
Hold on.
That's fucking cool. Dude, I'm fucking tired.
Louis, shut the fuck up.
Tired and wired.
Luis. You barking at dog. I never know what the hell she's barking at half the time.
Shut up, you damn piece of shit. Or whatever. What does that guy say? Terminator 2. Hey, shut up, you worthless piece of shit.
How do you know, bro? How do you know?
Because he knows. Tink. Where you going, Tink? Where you going?
I want to steal your little chubby dog, dude.
You want to steal my dog?
Yep.
That's what he said.
Go for it. She'll bite the fuck out of you if you try to pick her up.
Not the old one.
And then I'll fucking beat you with a 2x4 on top of that.
That might happen.
Ouch, dude.
That's what I wanted. I just got an idea.
What kind of idea? What kind of idea? Is it a good idea?
See if it works. There we go.
Sim company. Sim. Tobacco Shop Simulator.
Let me see.
Did you say Tobacco Shop Simulator?
Yeah, there's like a game called Tobacco Shop Simulator. I was like, what? That's funny.
Jesus. Rashid.
Right. Pick your Arabic name.
Hey. Tobacco Shop.
And depends on how dark you are, is how difficult the game is, like South Park did.
It's like a sim. He like starts becoming an asshole. Fucking.
All of a sudden, by the end of the game, you're selling oil. You're like, what the fuck happened to me?
You just booted out of the game. Next stage, Oil Tycoon, Terrorist.
Yep, Oil Tycoon's your next game. Yep,
dude. I don't even care. Like all this kind of joking that can be taken as racism is funny.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck.
Yeah, well, like that.
It's
when
so
you mean
boring.
It.
Yeah.
That's the hard line for a lot
like
of people.
what?
Because some people try to like cover their actual racism in jokes. It's like,
Yeah.
Like you actually meant that, bro. That's the difference. Like there's a big difference between meaning what you're saying and just fucking around and talking shit just to be funny.
Yeah.
For sure.
Stereotypes.
I'm
Stereotypes
old school, baby. I grew up in the shit talking era, so that shit don't hurt me.
Right, so like stereotypes are funny. Fucking
some of them are really bad, but yeah, most of them are funny.
Yeah.
There's a few,
I mean,
but yeah.
Like the black people eating chicken thing, you know, like it's not bad. It's just like it's sort of tired. I mean, obviously.
They just fucking overdone.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that everyone can talk about.
Yeah. You got chicken. Like, all right.
Chicken and watermelon.
I know, right?
I'll eat the fuck out of some chicken.
White people, they just don't use seasoning. That's the stereotype. You want you want blonde ass food? Eat white people food. Boring as shit.
Not me, but
you're not the stereotype then.
Exactly.
There you go.
Stereotype.
Guess what? If you are the stereotype, I'm gonna talk shit about you because funny.
Yep, exactly.
I give my girlfriend shit all the time when she cooks food. When it has like she's gotten better with it recently, you know. But
like, what is this?
She like I make mashed potatoes. She's like, I just want salt and pepper. I'm like, you don't want like none of this Greek seasoning or Lowry's or not? Nope. I'm like, all right.
Like chives or anything.
Like just be a basic bitch, then go for it.
I want food, not stuff.
I want my food to have flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta learn about the gut biome and all that shit, you know.
About what?
The gut biome and all that shit, you know. Like
how to eat right,
kind of food I should be eating. Yeah, like the right fucking food, you know.
Vegetables. That's the right.
The
food.
wrong shit.
Vegetables is always the answer. I mean, they're gross to me too, but it's always the right answer. If you eat vegetables, you'll be much better. The Constitution Party.
I fucking hate that shit, dude.
Oh yeah, the people talk about the you said money. Oh, we're doing all this. He's like, we're gonna save so much money. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you guys think it's gonna bring down the debt at all? Well, no, but it's gonna save money. I'm like, oh, so it's trying to do nothing? Okay. Okay.
The Constitution. I am an American man.
I mean, the Constitution is really cool. I'm not saying it's not, but
Right. But when people just like that's like the end of their investigation. You know what I mean? It's like.
Well, that's why I was arguing with these people. I was arguing with these people. It's like I said, the people that want to take like laws and shit as like originalists, where like we got to interpret it just the way it was when they wrote it, and blah blah blah. It's like, what? You don't want to have a fucking an informalist fucking like you can evolve the law and shit, like moves with the times, stuff like that. I try to make that argument a bunch, like
living document, right?
Yeah, living document basically instead of fucking. It's set in stone. Cause like I said, I use the analogy, and they just kind of brush it off. It's just like what? Like I said, when we say "we the people" back in what was written, it didn't mean people. It meant white men. That's it. Everyone else was not "we the people." Like, should we keep that as literal as in that's what they meant back then? For sure, always. Like, no, we adapted it to be "we the people" as everybody in America. Like, we all are the people, not just fucking white men.
Dude, it's so dumb. Like. We are not like just a white country. We are like.
Well, no, the whole point. My whole point was that
like I just mean like this. Though I just mean in general, like.
Well, that's what it was back then, which I get back then. That's the way it was. But like I say, like, but if we're gonna take it as literal, like as the time that it was written, that's what it was written for, right? It wasn't written for fucking everybody like it is like nowadays.
Yeah.
My whole point is
in the law it was white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
like,
that's my point. But I'm saying if you take things as originalists, you have to keep it as the original meaning. That's what it meant, right?
Yeah.
That's why. That's kind of my whole point. Like it adapts. Like I said, you can keep, like I was trying to express, like we can keep the same words that are in like the rules or whatever, like the laws and shit, but just those words change with the times. Like if we have different moral beliefs or whatever, guess what? We adapt to it, and we kind of trying to change it to fit what our narratives are now,
Yeah. I don't know. I think our strength as a nation just is to take from everywhere. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. I mean, that is a strength, but a lot of people don't see it that way. They just see it as money going away. Money. But it's like,
I need my money so I can.
Like, relatively.
It's not. It's just not. Dude, it's always the tiny wins. It's always the tiny little things, that, there's some, I don't know.
Yeah, over embellishments.
Well, when are they gonna get to the healthcare? Tell me when they get the healthcare. Wake me up then. Otherwise, we're just fucking digging up little treasures, saying, "Oh, look at what we're getting! Oh my god, we're doing it!
Right?
We were right."
That's what I tell people. I'm like, how many times I gotta predict the future before you fucking realize?
1,000 times over.
Dude, so stupid. Meanwhile, the elephant in the room, that isn't the elephant in the room. The pharmaceutical industry. The end boss.
Mm-hmm. Do. Apparently on X right now, what's trending is Nazis.
Am I really surprised?
I don't know if it's good or bad. Just reading. Oh, here you go. In Utah, which is Mormon fucking country, a Nazi flag can fly in the new Utah schools or state school laws, but not the pride flag. GOP lawmaker says.
Oh, I saw
we can't have. You saw that earlier?
Something about it.
Yeah, that's apparently what it is.
Nope. Not at all.
So funny.
I definitely am moving to Utah now.
Dude, I would never go there. Fuck the Mormons, dude. They're the worst.
What the fucking... It's such a beautiful state, unfortunately.
Dude, why do they gotta ruin everything, man?
Silly. Oh, President Trump is reportedly considering withdrawing the U.S. from NATO. Who would have thought?
I definitely would have thought.
Why are we paying for NATO? Why are we paying for NATO? Okay.
Because he's a Russian asset. That's all he is.
Yeah, it's like something we'll have to repair if we ever can. You know.
Rich TV's organizing a jam.
I fucking hate goddamn people keep saying that, oh, egg prices are up because 150 million chickens were killed. I'm like, no. You don't get to fucking say that after you blame Biden for goddamn the inflation that he didn't cause. Like, no, you don't get to understand how nuance works all of a sudden. Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. I knew that right away because I pay attention, and I knew over in the South there was a huge fucking exposure to it, and they had to call a shitload of chickens. I was like, yep, there goes the egg prices again. It's that avian flu, man, it's just ripping through.
Damn.
Donald Trump posted today, he who saves his country does not violate any law. Like, what do you
I saw that.
Did you?
I saw, like, all right.
Oh my god.
Like, what kind of fucking thing? Like, okay.
What was the dude? It's like that one fucking quote or from what's that movie? Fucking National Treasure. He's like I forgot what it was, but it's like probably it's like his take on it. If you have the position to act or whatever, like you have the responsibility to act. He who saves his country breaks no law. It's like the funniest. I'm gonna say that.
Who sucks dick is not gay.
He who saves his country breaks no law. Can that work anywhere now? Can I start using that?
Like, yeah, like
using it ironically like he does. Yeah, exactly. I saw that meme already.
Oh, was there already a meme? Like Luigi saved his country, breaks no law. The logic, bro. That just the twisted logic. The absence of logic.
These people act like 2.3 million, 30 million, 40 million, 486, all this money. They think it's a lot of saving money, but it's not even. And then it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna stop doing biodiversity conversations, voter confidence, social coercion, improve learning outcomes in Asia. Just things like, I don't know, man. Like all the things you can bitch about. That's the one, huh?
People are fucked up, bro.
Noticed.
Where the smart people at?
Who knows?
All my homies reject idiocracy. You get him. I'm getting child abused over here.
Child abuse?
Yeah.
You're the child? I don't even know why I asked that.
Oh. Because it's Sunday, I don't work on Sundays usually. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's Sunday.
Oh. Animals. Aminals.
Nice.
Do. Silly.
Game is pretty fucking dope, I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, what is it again?
Riders Republic. I should be streaming it right now.
Nope.
That's
You
not
fucking. Like, nope.
What the fuck? Why can't I stream it?
Just came to myself.
Not peanut. Go nuts.
I love people. These people said the people that have told you that Russia is the aggressor and that Ukraine is democracy, they are the liars. Like, okay, who went into which country first? Like, it's really easy to figure this out. Who attacked who?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm pretty sure the guy that did that is the aggressor. It's not really hard to figure out.
Dude, if you cross borders, it's like, guy at a bar, like.
He gets punched in the face for talking shit too much.
And then he fucking then the guy just keeps punching him and he's like, "Let him go." Is that he didn't do it. He didn't fucking start the fight. Guy fucking chases him home, keeps fucking fighting him.
And starts raping your churches.
Yes.
And burning your women. So, do you have any last words? Yes. Just 3. Moving on.
Moving on up.
Fucking little lettuce kids,
All right.
He has a bullet. Good thing I didn't aim. Nobody's supposed to know who has the bullet.
Largest cities in the world. New York is not among them.
No shit.
New York, dude.
Not a single U.S. city anymore.
New York. Yo, I'm
New
from New
York.
York. I have a gun score to a Broadway show.
Silly.
I'm from Texas. Howdy, y'all. Let's rope and raise Broncos. I'm in Delaware. Hi. I'm in Delaware. This is fucking sold it. I love that.
Hello, I am in Delaware. Welcome.
This has nothing to say about Delaware.
That's funny, actually. Fuck.
Sounds like my dog's being a pain in the ass.
In the whole booty hole. Baby, you always gotta lay on my mouse. Why do you always lay on my mouse?
Just like fucking pay attention to me. I'm the owner of the house.
Yeah. Like, nope, you must pet me before you do anything with that mouse.
But you realize, cat. It's not your house, it's their house.
Always.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best.
Huh. I don't know how true this is, but it says if white men only voted in 2024, Trump would have won every state but 3.
White men only.
Good white people.
White men, like, I'm talking about like 15, like 1800s. That was just them voting. If it would have been that way now, it would have been all but 3. It would have been Washington, Oregon, and Vermont. The only blue states.
Kind of startling.
It is startling. California's red. Like I'm saying, all these Minnesota's red. If you just go by that too, yeah.
That's stupid. We are stupid.
Well, it's just white men. We're fine overall, but
yeah, I know.
But I'm just saying, like, it's crazy when you think about it.
We like our trucks. We like our beers. And then we beat up them queers, and we I don't even know.
Their wives.
Just you gotta make an anti-country song. Make a country. People are like, wait, what?
By people who I definitely didn't elect, and neither did Destiny. They're totally fine with that, but for some reason with these guys, no, that's too much.
No, these things have been authorized by law. There's a process and procedure there. The Social Security Administration was created by Congress. There's a process and procedure by which they collect data. And
Alright, I think I'm gonna head off to bed. I gotta work tomorrow, but then I'm off for 2 days.
Oh shit!
So
Tuesday,
one of these days we're gonna probably stream a lot.
Hell yeah, brother.
I don't know. I'll have to pick a topic and dive into it.
I do not have plans.
I was looking at some Federalist shit and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'll figure what I want. Whatever people start arguing about on Facebook tomorrow or on Tuesday. On Tuesday, whatever I'm arguing with, that's what I wanted to deep dive into. Like, motherfucker. I tried to get a good dude on today because he was telling me something about Trump. I'm like, hey, you're welcome to join and talk. And he never joined, of course. But, that or I'll just go back to the Republican people, see who's on tomorrow. Different people. Be like, hey, I'm going to start talking shit. I should send you this. We should go on one day and tag team this bitch. Let's see here.
Fuck yeah.
Either way. Alright, guys. Peace out.
Dudley Boys style. Yeah. Alright, dude.
Peace out, brother.
Peace out.
Alright, motherfuckers. Peace out.